show off. We have Yu Huang, brand new god.
I have my audio maxed, by the way.
This is a huge show. We have a ton of
Maxed
stuff
right
to
now.
talk about because this is the Nerf
Maxed.
patch. That's what I'm talking. Like I'm not joking. This is crazy. There's so many things that are changing. I mean, AJ, you want to start us off?
I do. Thank you. Good to be back in the studio, by the way. Haven't been here in quite a long time. Haven't done a live show in person in quite a long time. Hello, everyone out there in Smite land. It's good to see you again. It's going to be so much better than sitting at home all the time and kind of accidentally talking over each other because of latency. Hold on, screen freeze.
You're so right.
Okay, we're back. So today is a special update. It's not just because of a new god or because of all these fun things that Dandy listed, but this is a very uniquely done update, a complete philosophical change.
It's a big one.
And a
What does that mean?
massive number of individual changes. So what we are doing today in 9.4, the Jade Emperor update, is a nerf patch, as we're calling it. So we have over 20, or like my final count, excuse me if this is not exactly correct, but 29 total individual gods being nerfed. Every single one. 29, 37 different items individually nerfed. That is including their glyphs, though. So like Ratatouille.
Oh, shit.
Also 8 relics, so that's 2 relics, all 4 upgrades, and 2 reworks in this update.
Holy
We've been seeing a lot of community feedback about the overall damage in the game and the pacing in the game. We want to take that seriously. We want to take steps to address it. Today is the big first step towards that. We started with looking at what are the most powerful, most highly prioritized gods in every class and every role, as well as every item. And we went through that one at a time, taking all of the top picks, all of the top items across every role, every class, and nerfing generally their base damage of one or 2 of their abilities, or the item power.
Right.
There are some exceptions, of course. You can go and read this on the patch notes. There's a nice, lengthy explanation of dev notes from me, as well as our kind of our scientific method, our process.
This is
for
going to
how
be
we
a
work through
3-hour
this
patch notes.
We know that people wanted changes across many things in the game, but Smite is a collection of individual things, so we had to go through them individually. So if we're going to go through a whole lot of things individually, we might as well have a methodology to it. Start with the most powerful ones, go through every class and every role, make sure we hit the most popular ones, most powerful ones in every role, and apply those nerfs. Let me see if I have anything else in my notes here. I apologize, because there's a lot to keep track of in this patch. I cannot memorize all of it.
Incredible.
Oh, they're cranking up the audio.
So generally our methodology was to evaluate the highest pick ban. So we're looking for the most participation from a god or an item. Then we kind of contrasted that with its win rate and its damage output or power value to kind of determine the magnitude of the nerf. We did nerf item power and god damage whenever possible, but there were some exceptions. Sometimes we nerfed some self-buffs that might contribute to power, or some passives that do bonus damage, etc. There also are some defensive nerfs, because we wanted to kind of we wanted to create this shift lower in damage, but we also wanted to bring everything down. So there are a few tank items also getting nerfed. There are also potentially many characters that you might think, oh, this character should have been buffed. Like, I really think this character could have used a buff. No, not in this update. No buffs.
Right?
Yes.
Update.
No, that's right. You don't nerf all that shit and buff other shit.
Buffs for we think we have some good ideas for them, but the way they're kind of getting buffed is indirectly because all of their competition is theoretically getting buffed. If they are, competing with the gods that are getting nerfed today.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
I think with that, let's get into it. We got a long list of things to go through, so let's move.
Yeah, that was easy to digest. I'm sure you got all that. If you didn't, the update notes are live now again with all this information. So we're going to really rattle through this. There's so much that we have to go through that we're going to block everything.
Start telling us about it.
Give it to you,
and stop
give you
fucking talking.
Everything. So we're going to start off with some relic changes. So Belt of Frenzy, Greater Belt of Frenzy, Belt of Insatiable Hunger, Belt of the Berserker, Bracer of Radiance, and Greater Bracer of Radiance, along with Bracer of Brilliance, Bracer of Illumination, all getting nerfs. All nerfs all the time. What are the highlights from those?
So
that's
these
surprising.
Relics are specifically the ones that provide
They literally are just trying to hit damage.
Power buffs.
Yeah.
They're
So
hitting
when we're having
damage.
concerns with the total damage output in the game, particularly late game, but we've even seen recent strategies where people are buying the level 1 Frenzy.
Yeah, popping that clear wave.
So all of these items are being nerfed because of specifically their strong damage.
They're getting nerfed because their damage increasing.
This is a little bit different from the rest of the methodology.
They want to nerf overall damage down.
Significant contributors to the burst damage effect currently in Smite. So these are just getting nerfed across the board. All of them will be.
Like,
of
oh boy,
course,
hell yeah,
like
brother.
all of these items and all of these gods today will be
Thank you guys for
reviewing the
subbing.
results the data,
Thank
the
you,
feedback,
thank you,
see
thank
how
you.
things go after the changes, and see if we need to adjust accordingly.
Right, because we want to make sure that relics are diverse and everyone can kind of choose between the different ones. If this leads to kind of a stale meta for relics, then that's okay. That's a different issue we can address later. This is all about power.
They're trying to fix
Yeah,
the game
so
and then
that's gonna
work
be the
their way
first
back,
block.
which is smart.
Next up,
Holy
we're kind of
fuck.
getting into the general mage area. So we have Rod of Tahuti, Calamitous Rod of Tahuti, Nimble Rod of Tahuti, Divine Ruin, and Spear of Deso.
And Chronos
all getting
Pendant.
nerfed. And Chronos Pendant, you're right. All getting nerfed down. Clumsy, what's with the mage stuff?
Yeah, I think those ones are kind of self-evident. With the Rod of Tahuti, we had the new glyphs coming into them. Obviously, Rod of Tahuti was a pretty high status.
Okay, they're hitting all the
power.
power.
Item, but then again, as you guys have talked about and as we've seen, some of these pen items, specifically Spear of
Power.
Desolation and Divine Ruin, have not only had their flat pen, depending on how much we're at the moment, but they've also increased in power over time. So here we are decreasing all of that. Chronos Pendant, as well as maybe you don't see it
every
as often in the
mage
high-level
item has
rank,
lost
but it
10
is
to 20 power,
extremely,
right?
extremely popular, and already over time it's gained power. So we're bringing all of that down. The top end for mage items, all
I
being
don't
reduced in power.
know
Chronos
if
Pendant
that's
is the most
enough.
purchased magical item in the game.
Yep, it's good.
Number one.
Yeah. So that's not all for mages. For those mages that like to move quickly and attack quickly, we also have Telkine's Ring and Ring of Hecate also getting nerfed, just like everything else. So AJ, what's with the rings?
Yeah, smaller section here. Mage ADCs are not
Okay.
necessarily a big concern right now, but they do have very high damage output. They were very meta only a short time ago.
They said
We wanted to
30,
go ahead and
39
take some top
nerfs?
end, of
Was it
stats off
39
their
item
items as
nerfs?
well.
We just saw
Again,
like
this patch,
10?
We're hitting everyone, everything.
Everything.
There's probably some things that
Yeah, mages will
people might
lose
say are going to get nerfed too hard or not hard
60
enough.
to 120
That's okay.
power
That's
depending on their build.
reasonable. We're looking forward to that feedback, but we're gonna learn and act.
Oh, it's
on that
29
in the
god
future. But
nerfs.
for today,
37
we're
items.
going
Yeah,
all
37
over
item
the
nerfs.
game. So Mage ADC is also getting some nerfs, and again, Hunters will be getting them as well. So
Yeah.
just because they're both getting nerfed, we'll see. Maybe Mage ADCs end up coming back because
And before Nox is the best
Yeah,
mid lane god.
again,
and
Nerf Central.
fucking
Everything that we read here,
Baka's
it's
the
gonna be
best
a nerf.
jungler.
We're bringing it all down.
And we only hit those 2 rings, of course, but if we look, we did talk about other mage itemization, and there's a very high chance that mage ADCs are going to be purchasing into one of the flat pen options or Nimble Rod of Tahuti, for example. So they're getting hit in multiple places.
Yeah. And again, this is an iterative process. We're doing this. We're going to see how it turns out, and we're going to keep going. We're going to make this. We're going to take y'all's feedback and do everything we can with it. So next up, we have kind of a warrior block. We have Caduceus Shield, Breastplate of Valor, Breastplate of Determination, as well as Breastplate of Vigilance. Ancile,
Okay,
Mystical
come
Mail,
on.
Bulwark of Hope, and Hide of the Nemean
What the
Lion.
fuck is
So,
that?
A bunch of warrior items getting touched as well. And if you want to get into that, Clumsy.
Yeah,
This
so we
is
kind of have 2 or 3
that's
things going on
nothing.
here. We have a couple of these warrior items that are a little bit of the hybrid ones that provide different stats and a little bit of power. Maybe more power
5
than
power?
you expect. So again, going alongside with the patch, we're bringing
5
that power a little
power
bit
was
lower.
removed from
now
Caduceus
there's the
Shield.
breastplates. Breastplates are going to be losing some of the
Nobody's
physical
building on
protections because
Chile.
They don't really have much power going on there, but they gained a lot of value with the glyphs. Breastplate is one of the most popular glyphs. Obviously, the
Okay,
tier ones,
Mystical Mail,
Determination,
Nerf is
Vigilance.
fine.
So we think
It's already
bringing
barely
down
being
how
built.
strong they are
Bulwark's
based
a
on
good
their
change.
physical protections is going to make them slightly less valuable, right? We might see a little bit less of them, but we're still happy with Breastplate as a whole.
Right.
Mystical Mail is going to be getting a change through
Hey,
its
let's
passive,
go!
which is effectively still damage
They're
across the
finally
board for
removing
those
full
that are
block.
setting up. Yep, it absolutely adds
Thank
up. And you've seen us
fucking
nerf
baby
Mystical Mail and adjust it
Jesus.
before.
Don't
We're gonna be
put
keeping
it back
an
in the
eye on that to
game.
Make sure it's still okay. Bulwark of Hope and other items
They've
like
taken
that.
it out twice.
similar to
Do not
Breastplate.
put it back in the
As
game.
we talked about earlier, power needs to come down, but we need to make sure that the top end of protections is also coming down a little bit. It's really bringing the the top end for everyone down, because if we just did power everywhere and we didn't touch protections, we're going to probably lead ourselves into a tank
We are
battle.
nerfing power more than protection.
Yes, we are, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we're very well aware that we need to make sure that we don't just run around.
just
with
kinda looks
these
not
protection items
happy.
Just being the meta, right? Everyone's just picking up protection items no
And
matter
this
what.
hide change is real spicy.
And the high change is the last
Okay,
one.
now he looks happy.
You know,
I
something
don't
that
know.
you
Maybe
might
it's 'cause
not
they
see
just
coming,
nerfed all the
but
mages.
From the higher level
He's
play,
like, "Ah,
we have,
fuck."
a lot of these people saying that block stacks are extremely potent, and yes, they are. The new hide change, you may not have gotten a chance to play around with it that much, but getting 3 full block stacks, I guess we have to call them partial versus full or some sort of
Yeah.
terminology.
Soft block stacks.
Soft
Soft
block
blocks,
stacks.
yeah.
We now have a new way of changing how much you're getting the efficacy of a block stack, right? Previously, you'd be reducing a full amount of a basic attack. Now you're getting a partial reduction.
Yeah, so entirely new tech that we could apply elsewhere too.
Yeah.
There you go. So if you guys like
Love
it, if this is useful, maybe we need to buff hide in case this was too heavy in nerf, because previously it was binary. You got a full block stack, you had nothing. Now you're somewhere in the middle, and we can apply this more often.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible how changing things like this can give us new tech, and we're like, wow, there's a whole other opportunity for us to change other items in the future.
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
really
thanks for
exciting
repeating
stuff.
what they
Next
just
up, we're
said.
Getting into those scary jungle assassins, keeping them from being, as one-hit potential as sometimes they can feel. And we're doing that by touching the Crusher, Hydra's Lament, Jotun's Wrath, Jotun's Ferocity, Jotun's Vigor, and Serrated Edge. So,
Okay.
So Crusher is kind of a flex item. Obviously,
Crusher getting attack speed nerf again.
But we had to put
That's
it somewhere.
fine.
And the
Hunters
list
are
of
not going to be
things,
happy.
That attack speed nerf is going to be actually targeting Hunters.
Hydra's Lament nerf needed because they added pen to it because they're fucking
Hydra's
weird.
Lament has recently got a big change earlier this season, so it's a lot more powerful.
I don't agree with Jotun's being nerfed,
bringing
bro.
That total
I'm
bonus
sorry.
damage down.
I don't
Jotun's
understand
Wrath,
Jotun's
similar, thoughts
not
as other
being
glyphs.
better
It
than
got
every
new
other
glyphs,
item.
So therefore, it got some new power, bringing it down. And a Serrated Edge is just like kind of the like catch-all jungler item right now. Power, pen, a lot of things going for it.
Serrated gonna get picked up a little bit less.
The base power down.
You're gonna see
across
Titan's
the
Bane come
base
back, and you're gonna see
the
Dominance
passive,
be
so
really
when that all
good.
stacks up, you get that's like 8 total power. No, more than that. 2, 4.
No,
6,
Jotun's shouldn't be
11.
nerfed. It's
Total power even off that
what
item.
it
so
is. It's like
pretty
like
significant
such
nerf there.
an important
A little
item, but
less
not stronger than
total
other items. It's
jungler
weird.
items.
Yeah.
We did see in a lot of our data and feedback that junglers from season 8 to 9 had smaller damage spikes than other classes, and also were often described as being a little bit behind in the total map farm.
Shocker.
So junglers maybe got
That's
a little
crazy.
bit lighter nerfs here in the
Who could have
itemization,
guessed it?
But as we
Who
said,
would've
still,
thought?
everybody get nerfed,
Yeah.
so they still got some, and we still nerfed what we identified as their
Wild.
most prevalent items.
Yeah, and that, again, that's the thing. Even if it's like,
Who would've thought
well,
junglers
they're
were
not the
not
most
power
powerful, but
spiking
they're
like other
still
classes
alright.
and had
We
less
wanted to
farm
touch
than
everything.
everybody
We
else.
want to make everything
would've
feel
thought
a
it?
little more sane, I guess, would be a good way to
crazy.
say it. So yeah, some of those damage items, some of the top damage items for them. down just a
All
little
right,
bit.
so those are the bungle
Next up,
nerfs?
we're going into the hunter world. So for hunters, we have
let's make hunters
Aussie,
cry.
Atlantis Bow, Wind Demon, Deathbringer, Envenomed Deathbringer, and Malicious Deathbringer. All of those getting touched as well. Clumsy, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, hunters are in a similar vein, but there's
Okay.
also a lot of
Just
cross-monetization,
lifesteal?
like we talked about between
Yeah,
the
of
Crusher. I
course.
mean, even Hydra's Lament, we're seeing on a couple of these hunters as
Yeah.
well, Jotuns too. Deathbringer is a similar case with a lot of these glyph items. In fact, you might have seen a lot of
I don't
these
think
actually
hunters will be
targeted
crying. I think they're
because
light
they were
nerfing
probably
hunters.
A little bit too strong on their top end.
Hunters are
those
crying
items
a
that are
lot.
gonna probably going to be prevalent in a lot of these builds. Deathbringer, Envenomed Deathbringer specifically is, they're all
Right.
quite strong. So keep an eye. There might be further nerfs there
What
too.
the
But we
fuck?
also
That's
wanna
not
make
even a
sure
Wind
that
Demon nerf.
we keep an eye on how
What?
the Hunters builds are playing out right now. In fact, you might even see that they're not extremely high power focused. There are a lot of
That's a
utility
Mercury
stuff.
nerf
There's a lot
right
of
there.
life
What
steals,
the
a lot of attack
fuck?
speed, so we wanted to focus some of those. Aussie and Atlantas and Wind Demon, those are 3 extremely popular.
That Wind
item builds
Demon
right
nerf
now
is
for Hunters.
fake.
So those ones
These
definitely need to
Deathbringer
go down
nerfs
their stats.
are
But if you actually
Mercury
look at them
nerfs.
individually, they don't have that much power themselves. It's the different efficiencies that they provide to the hunter. So that's why we address them in different ways. So Wind Demon, as a passive duration, you can say that's power coming off it in a different way. Aussie and Atlantis Bow with the lifesteal and the attack speed, it's powerful for hunter in a different mechanism. But Deathbringer, one of the core luxury items, absolutely we can just take the physical power off straight from that.
Whew. All right, so many things. We've gone over so many. We're moving into now the block that makes me the most sad because I am a Guardian lover. Guardian items, because obviously there's a lot of good Guardian items as well. We're going to bring the power down. We want to bring everything down just a little bit so that we don't see, like they said, kind of that Guardian spike. Don't want to be constantly steamrolled in lane by Atlas, which is what I would do if I could. So we're going to see Pridwin, Sovereignty, Heartward Amulet, Amulet of Silence, Amulet of Stronghold, Celestial Legion Helm, Vamp Shroud,
Okay,
and
some
Mantle of
Thieves
Discord,
nerf.
all getting touched from the Guardian role.
So there's a few different sub-archetypes within this. So Pride Wound is probably one of the most meta items. This shield also translates to the explosion damage, so this is a nerf on both regards, which is really good. Sovereignty and Heartward just taking small shaves of physical or magical protection, kind of as part of our overall net decrease. And again, they're taking smaller nerfs than most of the other builds of aggressive.
I don't know if I'm trolling,
Celestial Legion Helm and Vamp
but I
Shroud
don't
are more specifically
think all
solo
these
lane
changes
Guardian
are gonna do
items,
anything.
And those do have power that matters.
At least up to
Those
this
are
point.
giving power
We're halfway
nerfs,
through
both of
the
which
items,
we're
right?
seeing
We're almost all the way through the
pretty
items.
Because we're seeing solo lane Guardians be pretty prevalent
I
right now.
don't
So
think
the Vamp
this
Shroud
changes
specifically
anything.
Is a pretty big nerf to a starter item. 10 power off of a starter item is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So hoping to bring a little bit more balance back between Guardians and Warriors in the solo lane, as well as just decrease that Guardian damage. Mantle of Discord is something that's good for everyone, so also a good one to nerf. Of
course.
That item just brings a lot of powerful effects to it. So I think it's about time it got this nerf anyway.
Yeah, and the interesting there, I think that AJ touched upon, is that Vamp Shroud is one of the only starters that we're looking at right now. But I think that's something that's been really important to see, especially in the high level, right? We've had a couple
Across
of
the
weeks
board, the
of
time to
SPL
kill
play.
is
We're
going to
seeing
go
Guardians
down,
kind of
or going to go
Vamp
up.
Shroud
It's going to take longer to kill people.
really, really a
Because
heavy
you're
hitter
missing
for them.
out on
And they're getting that right
a
off the bat.
decent
There's
amount of
other
power
counterpunches we wanted
for
to make
these
sure we
damage
address,
classes.
kind of the mid to late game. This one was very,
Hunter,
very
I
early game
don't
focused. And
I feel like hunters didn't get fucking touched
This might
at
be a
all.
problem for like Vamp Shroud for maybe the other laners who want to pick this up. For like
Solos
mid-mages,
should
that's
still
something we
feel
can address at a
fine.
later time. We want to
I don't
make
know,
sure
this is
not
weird.
to stifle what's going on in like the higher level scene too.
Well, I think a really important thing here to note is that this was a new process for us.
Yes.
Very new.
Very.
We are 100% open to continuing this.
Yeah, they barely touched hunters.
So,
Like,
one of the things, like
barely.
this is the only starter.
But
item.
hunters
We
suck in the
have been
early game
looking
right
at
now.
Starter items. We are open to nerfing starter items.
Which
in
is
the
why
next
I'm a little
update if we
surprised
feel
they
like
aren't
that's
nerfing
necessary
the
as well.
later game
There's
stuff.
also
Maybe the
conquest
god
changes,
nerfs.
which
The
we're
god
gonna get
nerfs
to a
might be the
little bit
move.
here.
We'll see.
But our next update after this, the 9.5 update, is going to be a true conquest update.
Yeah.
With specific changes, map art changes, and mechanic changes to conquest. So, going to handle a lot more things there. So,
Why wasn't that in
as
this
we're wrapping
patch?
up on
The
our
fuck?
items, just wanted to get that.
Oh, that kind of just ruined it for me,
process.
dude.
We will keep moving towards it. If everyone loves this and wants more of it, we'll consider doing more of it. If,
Yeah.
we're gonna see, it's gonna be really hard to predict what
It-
this
it
creates,
very
right?
much so.
We have a lot of a lot of our betting pool predictions internally about what's gonna be good and what's not gonna be good, and we're gonna be very interested to see where we were right and where we weren't, and we'll react accordingly. So we do have one more item, not part of the nerf patch. This is a rework.
Yeah.
This is a rework for quality of life and functional purposes. We've been wanting to make this item just feel better to use. This is something we had working on in the background. It required some engineering tasks, and as we got it complete, we still wanted to go ahead and ship it, but we did ship it with the nerf, so it is a shift.
Yeah.
So not necessarily a net buff. It is a net damage decrease, but this Archmage's gem now is only going to proc and remove the stack if you successfully damage an enemy god. So no
That's
more
just like a quality of life change that should have been in already on the item.
Bonus damage proc away.
Yeah.
Tally.
Keep in mind, this is the upgrade to the starter. This is not Conduit Gem, the starter itself. That's functioning the same way where it's going to be hitting minions too.
Correct. This is this is the level 20 required upgrade.
So, something to very much work towards as you get into this. So that's going to kill off all the items. That's a lot of nerfs we just went through. Obviously, we have the gods we still have to talk about, but I'm just going to reiterate what they said already. We said this last update notes or show, and we're listening to y'all.
They didn't touch any
If there's something y'all
katanas,
wanna be
right, other than
changed, share that
serrated?
feedback. Let us know. Drop it places. We're always looking for it. That's what makes this.
And they
We're
didn't
always willing to
touch
try new things.
rage.
Hopefully you can see that with this, because this
They
has been
didn't
crazy.
touch
Absolutely crazy. So we're moving into gods now.
Titans,
and,
brawlers.
Again, a lot of nerfs. Everything
Brawlers
you're
is
see
gonna be
a nerf.
really
Check
fucking
the
right. They
update
didn't
notes
nerf
for this,
brawlers.
But we're
It
starting
was just
with
Crusher Jotans.
Tiamat. So Primordial Onslaught getting a little bit of a
Oh
reduction.
yeah, we
Stone Cutting Sword is gonna be way
Oh,
better.
that's true.
Brawlers is gonna be
A big
really
one.
fucking
This is
good.
exciting too. Diminishing returns. So actually, another, I guess, nerf.
A lot of
but
the
it's
same
buff
mage items are
diminishing
gonna be. I
returns, a nerf to
bet
a lot
you
of
maybe
other
we go back to
things.
Book of
Right.
Thoth builds
We're doing
in
a buff
mages.
to diminishing returns, which
Yeah.
will mean a net nerf to CC in the game.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Yes.
What we're doing is that. So quick reminder: if you do get hit by a hard CC in Smite, you get a invisible stack of diminishing returns
Yeah.
applied to you, which lasts for 15 seconds. It's relatively long, and that makes the next CC you're hit by 33% less effective.
Yep.
We're going to be buffing that up to 40% less effective. So getting chain CC'd is going to be less effective. But
Okay.
also, there's a floor at which we the max reduction. Currently, you could reduce CCs down to 0.5 seconds from this effect. We're now going to let you reduce it down to 0.4 seconds. If the CC is already lower than that, it's not affected by,
Yep,
by this rule. But so in both of those cases, CC
Okay.
is getting nerfed. That does not
like
affect
that.
roots and knockups. Knockups have their own knockup height that is not affected by DR, but does apply.
If you don't know what
DR
diminishing returns are, you need to
and
Google it.
roots are not
It's when a
categorized
stun
as
comes
hard
after
CC.
another stun and there isn't enough time gap between them. It's a reduced
So
stun
Those
duration.
will not be affected by this. So potentially,
Or any
root and
CC.
knockup characters
Reduced
might be a little
duration
stronger
of the
than
next
everyone
CC
else's
because you don't
CCs
wait
in
enough
Nerf.
time to land
Also,
the next
things that are
one.
channeled or grabs or pulls like that are also
Right.
not going to be changed by
Yeah.
this.
Okay, so
they
it's
do a lot of those do apply.
mainly just taunt
diminishing returns.
stuns?
So big CC nerf, effectively game wide, and
Oh, yeah.
just another note that we will be reviewing the feedback from this, and we will be open to making more changes to this rule set in the future.
Yeah, and again, all outlined in the update notes, but a super important change because, again, like we're touching everything, that rule touches so many different reactions.
It doesn't
or
include
interactions
knockups.
and
You can't
characteristics
DR
in the
knockups.
game.
It's not
But We're
possible.
excited to see how it plays out and excited to see what change this.
That's why knockups are the best CCs in the game.
Y'all, the community.
Now
So-
we can talk about
Now
the
we can talk
29 well, 28 today because I counted Shiva and Bastet from bonus. So
Yeah.
28 individual god nerfs today.
So
which
many
we will-
pages.
We'll try to be we're going to be a little
said there's
quick just
2
because
reworks
otherwise we'll be
today,
here all
too?
day.
Yeah, gonna eat dinner
The
here.
designers will be able to answer any follow-up questions on social media as well as the community team.
That's
I
that
think
nerfs were in
Lenny's
the
planning on
micro
doing a little
patch. They already
Q&A
went
stream
through,
later
like,
today
2 weeks ago.
or tomorrow.
You late.
Tonight.
Today.
So if you want to ask for more follow-up questions,
Shiva
for more
nerfs were
details
2
on
weeks
something,
ago.
we're going
You guys
a
are
little
late.
fast today, just
Oh,
so
yeah.
we're not here all day. But
So yeah, I mean,
Tiamat was the first
kick it
one
off
on the
with
list,
Tiamat.
right?
Yeah, Primordial Onslaught.
This is her charge up multi-fire projectile.
Yeah.
This
Yep,
is kind of her
AO1.
core damaging ability. And this ability can really chunk.
Yeah.
Especially in the late game. The numbers don't look all that crazy when you look at them, but when you can get hit by multiple effects and those stacking with other triggers, like this ability hits hard.
Yeah, because you're obviously getting like every time she ranks us up, you're getting multiple projectiles that can fire, because in the early ranks it's only 2 projectiles. Later on, you increase the number of projectiles. So it's just stacking on itself. Then there's a subsequent damage reduction, and based off this, you're gonna have to trust us that the numbers hopefully will add up to surmountable nerf for Tiamat.
The Tiamat's maybe a little bit lower on the meta than a couple of other gods we mentioned. But as we mentioned, we're trying to top nerf like the top 4, 5, 6 gods in every class, every role. So that's getting the top picks, and then even some of the picks that some of you might still perceive as kind of middle tier or like top of the mid tier, but you know. They're on the list.
Tiamat is still very good.
Yeah.
So that's a
the
good
next
nerf.
god is very powerful right now.
minor.
Yeah, and
This
that would be.
nerf is ready for it's the right time for it.
Yeah, it's a good time for this one. You kind of hammer on the nail, and that's Agni getting decreased power and scaling across both combustion and rain fire. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Agni's kit,
that's kind of a fat nerf to Agni.
Kind of shot up in both
holy
popularity and
shit.
damage, and that's with the extra.
That's
damage
a
on
fat
stun
nerf
and
to
off the
Agni
speed bump.
bombs, bro.
If you actually have a look at the numbers, combustion actually does a whole bunch of damage. So reducing some of the scaling on that one, which is his passive ability, right? Which is just something.
Because
he's getting on
Agni
top of
is
his
one
other
of the
abilities.
best
Was kind of a no-brainer.
all
And the
around
other one
mid
that hits
laners
quite
right
hard,
now.
with a little bit of
And it
variance
has
involved
been
is
since the
ultimate,
beginning of the
right? So if
season,
you're getting
since
hit
they buffed
by
him.
3 different shots of rain fire, you're going to be hit by a lot of damage. So this change here is going to be honestly stacking depending on how many hits you're going to be affected by with rain fire.
Yeah, and all good changes because constant damage being put up by Agni is insane, and being immediately blown up by the fireball.
Yeah, and he's a bit of an artillery mage as well, so he can kind
Yeah.
of do some of this from range if he wants to, which makes it even safer of a nerf.
Yeah, so good stuff to see. Next up, Persephone also getting some damage reduction and a change to Grasp of Death. So what's going on?
So she's getting magical power scaling decreases on all of her effects from the harvest ability, so the plants.
Right. I've actually seen Persephone banned a lot in my
And then Grasp of Death is no longer
my
gonna apply
YouTube
a
series.
attack speed reduction, which can make it much easier to break out of it. So effectively a CC nerf on this ability that doesn't really have any easy durations to nerf. It's all very it's all part of a very scripted presentation. But now you'll be able to break out of it more easily if you get trapped in that cage.
apparently Persephone slaps in
way to
lower
count
brackets, dude. I don't know.
Unless you're me and you panic and try to run away because you're like, I just want to run away. Never works, always die. Next up, Soul getting touched a little bit on some damage as well. Stellar Burst and Supernova. I mean, less fire in the game, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Right, we've got Agni and Soul changes. Soul is one of those ADC mages that's probably doing the best right now.
Fair enough.
She can play mid lane very well
She's
too.
been playing
Yeah.
mid lane. She's obviously we've seen Zatman doing really well on the dual lane as well. Hitting her Stellar Burst is something, her main poke tool as well as her main wave harass tool. And Supernova was kind of a no-brainer as well with that ultimate damage. It's going to have a subsequent damage reduction as well, or the first hit's going to be the most important. So hitting that on the top end of scaling is going to be a pretty big chunk.
Indeed it will. And again, yeah, just less fire in the game, less chances for me to randomly be burned to a crisp. Next up, Scary Bird getting touched a little bit. Thoth, Hieroglyph Assault, and Final Judgment both seeing a little bit of decrease.
Mage
Finally!
Pen Buffs brought this god back in
Holy
real full force.
fuck, that
He's still a
nerf
very
took
high
way
skill
too
god, so you
long,
don't see
dude.
him as much in casual
Way
play.
too
You do see him
long.
a lot in high-end play and ranked play.
Way too long.
Right? You got to hit all your abilities, but if you do, he does quite a lot of
Fucked
damage. So
off.
you're getting scaling
This
up,
shit should have
core
happened
damaging ability.
2 months
Like I
ago.
said, a lot of these changes pretty formulaic. We're looking at core damaging abilities of the top characters and nerfing their base or scaling. Mages, we targeted scaling a little bit more, and then some of them than base because mage end game damage is very high. And we've already seen mages, because of the flat pen nerfs again, fall behind a little bit in the early games. We're already seeing hunters come back to the mid lane a little bit, so you see a little bit more scaling nerfs on mages than some other classes. But Thoth, all in all, this guy.
What if we just enter a double hunter, triple guardian
You can also
meta?
see the future because that scream he does with his ult is usually the scream I do after he's killed me.
Because
with
the
his ult.
guardians barely got
So,
nerfed,
Zeus up
and
next,
hunters
also
barely got
getting
nerfed.
Some nerfs. Crazy, bet you didn't guess that.
Top god in the meta right now, Zeus. Huh?
Zeus is a horror, dude. I love him though, honestly. Going into arena, throwing that ult, minty.
Is that aggro crying? I think. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
true. Why do you think he's not here? Because he
Zeus
threatened.
He said he
nerf.
could only present
All
one
right.
Zeus nerf in a patch, right?
Yeah.
So this is the second one in a row, I believe.
Yeah,
make him
he's
do it.
recovering from.
It's just
It's Zeus heartbreak. He's recovering.
But I mean,
from.
I think everyone is aware that Zeus needs some nerfs right now, which is crazy because he's not only good in other game modes, but he's finally successful in Conquest.
Yeah.
We've given some time to shine, but in the nerfing patch, Zeus is not going to be exempt. So hitting his main 2 damaging abilities, Chain Lightning and Detonate, we've hit some of these before, but further hits on that. And I think the important one is we're also decreasing the slow on Chain Lightning as well.
Another CC
So a little bit of that CC nerf coming in. 30% to 20%, that's still going to be, that's a pretty sizable, you'll feel it for sure.
Yeah.
We usually don't go that much lower than 20% on a lot of these abilities.
Are they gonna nerf Scylla, dude? Or are we still
so
good
we're
with
kind of
Scylla?
rotating away from the mages now.
Oh,
we're
we're
going
good with
towards
Scylla.
Achilles. as well, getting some nerfs. I feel like that
two.
doesn't even bear repeating.
Protection on
Gift
two.
of the Gods and Shield of Achilles both getting touched on, getting a little downgraded.
Right, he gets a lot of free stats from his passives, either
does.
protection or power, so both of those coming down.
Thank
Specifically, a little more
you,
concerned about
baby
power than
Jeebus.
both,
Good
just to make
start.
one didn't quite take over the other. And then Shield of Achilles, his primary damaging ability. We are decreasing the long range damage. You might be looking at this and you might read it as a scaling change, but it is more significant than that because this actually gives his distant targeter a 5% nerf overall to its base and scaling. So it's actually a pretty significant buff or nerf to the long range hit of the shield. If he still hits you close range though, it will still be the same damage.
True that. Said the word buff, threw me out, dude. I'm totally out of whack.
I know. I don't know why I would accidentally say a word like that today when there's just no reason to use it at all.
In the nerfening, I know.
Well, I said that some characters are getting buffed in a way.
They say the nerfening
is getting nerfed. Like I always call every Hide of Nemean Lion nerf a hunter buff.
Sure. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, you're slashing the tires of Hide of Nemean Lion. So next up we have Shock, horrifying giant axe lightning man. Rain Dance and Storm Call, both seeing nerfs. So one of those.
Yes, we hit one Storm God. We thought
What?
we hit the other. No.
Yeah.
So this one's actually a little
What?
bit different, right? Because one of the things that we wanted to keep in mind of is we wanted to
Why?
hit power and a lot of these gods that are contributing a lot of power to the game. We hit items too. Another thing we want to look at who's just performing quite well and who's high popularity. And Chalk is absolutely one of those. Maybe you're not seeing him in the ranked as much as or in the SPL that much, but he is very high up there in the stats. So we wanted to make sure we looked at this.
Yeah, I literally
systematically,
never
right?
see Chalk,
Statistically,
but
that
okay.
was he was part of that discussion. We didn't want to miss him on that case. So Chalk, he didn't. We also had to look at the damage that he provides. We're also hitting warrior itemization, and we noticed that Chalk's strengths aren't really in that. What we did notice is that obviously his ultimate has a lower than normal cooldown, so we brought that in line. I thought that would be pretty fair.
Right.
And his healing tick is actually pretty insane. So much so that Chalks are building Transcendence, and that is not a troll pick in the solo lane. That is contributing to his damage, but as well as to the crazy amount of scaling that the healing provides. So this was an easy nerf for Chalk there.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I love that sustain in lane. It's one of the reasons that Chalk has definitely been kind of a go-to for me. So it makes sense to see it go, much as I like it. Next up, the Dropkick King Gilgamesh, also seeing some nerfs.
Hey, got another one. Let's go. Kill him.
This makes sense. I've seen a lot of him in my recent games, at least kicking me into or through walls.
This is
and
one,
stuff,
right?
So, I mean, what are these gonna imply?
Yeah, this god is still very powerful. We've seen it
Okay,
flex
that's
well into the
something.
jungle as well.
Start.
Decreasing the duration as well as the
Gilgamesh.
bonus damage scaling for health on Sunforged Scimitar is going to just bring down his total damage quite a bit. That ability is probably his main, or certainly his main.
Oh,
damage
shit.
output. It lasts very long. You can extend the duration, and
Okay.
just having basic
Double
attacks
nerf. Didn't
follow
expect
up
that.
damage
I thought the
after
one
you
was
is
enough.
really powerful on a warrior. So bringing that down quite a bit in multiple different ways. And then Winter Samash's ultimate.
I hate Gilgamesh. He's so boring. I never want to play him.
That's specifically going to be hitting
Gilgamesh.
the jungle Gilgamesh. Is going to be building a little bit more power. Won't be able to secure the kills as easily with that ultimate. Really, trying to push it more towards a zoning and control ultimate and less towards a big AoE nuke.
Yeah, that makes sense. Lots of sand in the eyes with that one. Mulan up next. Another character that I love to see. Great abilities, but I get it. The damage has been crazy. The solo lane fights have been hard to deal with. So cross strike and spear thrust both kind of dropping down.
Damn.
Yeah, it's almost like a what you're reading kind of
Hold
thing.
up.
Just because like previously Mulan was one that we've been struggling to buff constantly. We've had people saying like, okay, where's Mulan? All right,
Is she
here
dead
Mulan
now?
is, and Mulan's definitely doing quite strong statistically. So I think everyone's pretty happy to see some nerfs here. We're going to be hitting two of her most damaging abilities, her cross strike and her spear thrust. Spear thrust is also an interesting one.
I mean, if she
You can
wasn't
hit,
dead before, I
especially
think
when it's
she's
leveled up,
dead.
you can hit the target twice. And individually, the spear thrust damage isn't actually that impressive. It's when you hit targets multiple times with it. So we targeted specifically the bonus damage on hitting the same target twice with spear thrust, because that's an easy way of saying like, hey, if you get hit by once, it's not a lot of damage. That doesn't need the nerf. You get hit twice, which feels like a lot of damage. That's where the nerf is coming in.
Yeah, and a good place to see it. So up next, Shiva, done a whole lot of good since they hit the battleground. I mean, crazy amount of new plays. It's been fun watching all the highlights that have to do with this new god.
There's
but,
nothing fun about
just
watching
like
Shiva
everybody
get
else,
played.
the nerf is needed because a lot of power out of this one. So it looks like Pillar of Dawn having a bit of a change to the way it handles CC.
Yeah, Clumsy, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. So we've hit a lot of we've heard a lot of discussion of how strong Shiva is, and we've hit him a lot in different places. We hit him as well in the bonus patch, which already went live.
I don't think Shiva should be CC immune at
a
all.
warrior that's quite strong. He's a little bit resistant to nerfs. I think that's a little bit obviously
Haven't
said.
seen much pro play for him though.
And yeah, and it's also pretty unique because he's probably performing, he is, and there's no probably about it, he is performing way better in casual game modes than he is in the high level ranks and in pro play. I think we saw him debut in the SPL finally after being allowed in, and he showed up twice in the jungle, performing, well, I believe in one of the games as well as in the support lane. Not quite in the warrior lane, which is previously why we've been hitting a lot of his scaling. We did have the bonus balance nerf that went in, and one thing that you guys wanted to see a lot was some way of, locking him down a little bit more. So we introduced a new rule here for Shiva, which is that his Pillar of Dawn, which has previously been CC immune, is still CC immune except for stuns. You can now counterplay him and break him out of the ability by using a stun on him. It's something that we don't do often, but it's kind of felt thematic.
Big
it
commitment.
would feel weird if he was still knock-upable, if he could still slip and slide on Scotty, but being a stun, that's something very intentional there, whether he felt that was
Why can't he be silenced?
We're also obviously open to nerfing him more if necessary. I think that's kind of a given.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, as we continue to say, we're always up for listening to feedback. So we'll be interested to see how people work this new change into how they play.
My thoughts over on the patch, it's hard to say. Everything's just minor changes.
Next up, Bologna, as featured.
Could impact the time to kill and everything a lot,
nerf to shield
or it
bash
could
and
not.
bludgeon. So again, just bringing some stats down, AJ.
Yeah, Bologna's come back big time.
Damn.
Which is cool. We haven't seen her in quite a while. but she's
Damn.
doing
Okay,
really
that's
well
actually a
right
really
now.
big nerf for Bologna.
Shield Bash has a uncharacteristically high slow, I'd say. Generally, we don't put slows at 35%. That's high for a warrior. So shifting that down at all ranks, and then bludgeon spin damage. Now, this is the initial.
I feel like that's a
warm-up
massive
damage.
nerf.
Yeah,
Still a 10 damage base damage nerf, which is very similar to what we might do on many different abilities. But this is the part that is generally more confirmable, hits more of the wave. So this is going to take down her early game damage quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. So that's kind of the warrior section. Now we're kind of rotating into assassins. So again, the scary jungle jumpers that are leaping out and murdering me at level 2. And Camazotz is the first on the list. Hurts a little bit because I love
Camazotz.
but
That's a solo lane
Nala
nerf.
is getting a nerf, and
That's
it
a
makes sense
solo
that
lane
ability is
nerf,
something great
baby.
to get away with.
Let's
So-
go.
I think you
Take
hit the nail on the
Camazotz.
head
Have
there.
him.
You can get away with it.
He's
you can use
yours.
it to, safely
Kill
attack
him.
enemies.
Give
while,
them all
while
the
up in air
nerfs.
where they can't really answer. We made the
Yeah.
quality of life changes previously, and
Fuck
we've had
that
to nerf
god,
him since.
boring ass
We're still
god.
seeing that he's quite strong, so kind of reducing the top end of this damage a little bit more. Remember, it's going to be he has 3 different hits, so some of these numbers may look small by themselves,
This
but
is
you're
a
now
big
to stack
nerf.
them
Yeah.
up.
20 damage
Yep.
times 3. That's a big nerf.
Yeah, fuck him.
And we noticed obviously that the level 1, the rank 1 damage isn't even that high. 100 damage multiplied by that 3, that's still not that high for an assassin over time. So we lean more towards the mid and late game.
Right.
Yeah. Well, cool. The next assassin kind of on the chopping block here is Arachne, getting some damage reductions across both Predator and Venomous Bite, so
Yeah.
Scary spider.
Now, you see, we didn't write dev notes for every single god because
Yeah.
it was just going to be a huge
What
thing.
the fuck?
And kind of glad I don't have the Arachne there, because having to put in writing that Arachne is OP, I know people would be making fun of me eventually.
What the fuck?
But instead, we're just going to talk about it here on the show.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Arachne is one of the highest performing gods in the entire game,
Yep.
specifically in Conquest at all skill levels. She does very well even at high skill levels. It is only in the most organized pro play that she tends to really fall behind because she can really be countered and focused. But she is just an absolute solo game, ranked.
Why
stomp
you do
down.
this,
We did focus on 2
Cyrus?
different specific things to nerf for her.
To be fair, they
Her
did nerf
passive,
stone cutting.
which actually increases her basic attack damage.
So we're still all
by
good on
a
damage.
Relatively large
We'll
percent
survive.
based on the opponent's missing health. So that just makes her basics hit really hard. So this nerf here might look like a small number, but it will really add up. And then Venomous Bite power scaling, because that is a deceptively hard-hitting ability as well.
Yeah.
People don't expect it's going to hit them so hard, but it really does hit very hard.
Yeah, and what a lot of people underestimate about Arachne is that she's part spider, which is horrifying. So it just makes sense.
It's the fear factor, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it is the
that's
fear
an
factor.
added buff.
Again, mental crits.
And speaking
so-
of which,
And,
Yeah.
and speaking of which, for horror, we have Kleena up next, our Halloween champion. Again, just seeing some nerfs kind of across the board. Banshee's Wail, Lurching Claw, and Tearing the Veil, all kind of being
Big
brought
nerfs.
down a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, Kleena's a
Little
really
bit,
interesting
lot of
one
it.
as well.
Kleena does
because
too much
when she
damage,
first
so
came
this
out,
is
we
fine.
saw a lot of people, kind of
She's not
struggling
even
to
fun
do
to
well
play.
a little bit.
Complicated.
I think she has a very high skill floor and high skill ceiling. And then we saw once people got used to her, people maybe started realizing that it's harder and harder to get away from good Kleenas. Now she's, I think, almost like a perma
One of the
big
top
ban
gods.
in the
Oh,
SPL.
yeah, definitely.
She's one of the top gods, and it's pretty noticeable that good Kleenas with a bit of damage can do a whole bunch. So we're just hitting a little bit of power scaling on pretty much all of her abilities there. If we need to hit her again sometime in the future, I think that's not a problem.
Interesting side note about this one is that it was probably the most requested nerf of why wasn't it in bonus.
Oh, right.
And because we were doing, usually bonus is all the nerfs. but we couldn't put all these nerfs in bonus.
Cleanup does kind of have a high skill.
We kept most of the
floor,
nerfs. Obviously,
I
we
guess.
only shipped
Yeah,
2
floor,
nerfs in bonus. So
probably
they were
more
the
than
actual, what we perceived as the number 1
ceiling,
and number 2
because
guy in the game.
it's
being
all
Shiva and
skill
that set.
shots, and
Kuna
people
was
play
number
her
3
and don't use
in
her
that
passive correctly at all.
And we kind of discussed shipping her nerf early as well.
But if you
but,
can land your abilities, you
we
do
wanted
too much
to keep
damage.
The nerf patch really contained and all together. Because
If
also
you
we
get
wanted
ads,
to
just
bring all
sub,
these
then you
guys
won't get
down
ads.
together.
Yeah.
We didn't
Simple
really wanna see
solution.
Too much shifting over the first 2 weeks. So apologies to those of you who really called it on the cleaner nerf. You were right. It was coming all along. It was on the way. We just wanted to keep this patch really solid, keep everything together, and make a big impact to the game all out at once when 9.4 launches and the Jade Emperor arrives. We still got like 15 gods, 16 gods left to go?
Something like that. So we're going to keep
keep
blazing a
moving.
trail. Next up, Loki. Behind you and Vanish. Both getting brought
What?
down a little bit. We'll talk about
All right, fuck
about
Loki players. Fuck you, Loki idiots.
I mean, Clumsy, this is yours.
Yeah, go for it, Clumsy.
Loki shitters.
Oh, no, oh, I took the end of Cleena, so
Yeah,
it is actually mine.
it's up to you.
I mean, Clumsy,
either way.
you know, I know, Danny knows. Loki is
all
a
know.
burst god,
Yeah,
right? That is what he does. We slowed him down a little bit with the rework, but he's still very burst defined. He also has some of his best meta performances in the last few months.
Still
since
play
his
him.
rework,
Yep.
which I guess has been like
which is
over a
pretty
year
cool.
now or
Yeah.
whatever. Time is a flat circle, but he's still doing really well. He's getting scaling nerfs to compensate for that.
Easy
True that.
peasy.
All right, so this one's for Clumsy. We'll do Tsukuyomi next. Dark Moon Shuriken and Silver Moon Caltrops. Both getting hurt, both getting
What?
brought down.
Okay, that's
Lay it on.
Given
Kinda
besides
weird to
Tsukuyomi,
me.
one of the, assassins
I
that's
don't
performing
feel like
quite well
Tsukuyomi's
right
that
now.
good.
Probably a little bit more of like a pub stomper assassin. He can do a lot of his damage from range and then kind of. uses all of
yes,
his
maybe
coming
he
and
pub
cement that.
stomps, 'cause
a
I
little
feel
bit
like
of
he's not that good.
You know, we talked about how we're going to be adjusting power for some of these gods. Tsukuyomi's getting something here where it's adjusting his power because his main poke tool and jungle clear tool with Dark Moon Shuriken is actually going to be increasing its cooldown. 10 seconds is pretty low, and in a meta where it's probably been a while where cooldown is pretty prevalent for assassins, that can get really, really low, especially to the late game. And he's getting his range basic attack bonus after that as well. So increasing the cooldown is going to be decreasing his power throughout. And then Silver Moon Caltrops is just going to be the ranged follow-up attack. So similarly talking about those ranged follow-up attacks.
I mean,
that
the
Tsukuyomi
nerf's
can do,
not bad
it's
to
actually
Tsukuyomi.
reducing the scaling from that. Because
Honestly,
40%
like
hit
it's a
for a
slight
bonus
cooldown
to
change
an
to someone you
ability
go
that
heavy
does
CDR on
damage,
already.
Is pretty
I think the item
There's a lot of damage.
stuff
there.
will
Plus,
affect
those
more
calls are
than
just
these.
incredibly
A
hard
lot
to
of these
kill.
changes.
Legos.
The
So now
combo's
we're
gonna be
true
nuts.
Legos. Now we're kind of moving into the hunter area. So we got a couple hunters we're going to talk about.
They
Starting with
nerfed all
Illusion
assassins
Cop,
other than
so
Arachne. I don't care
the
about.
Bee having some reductions to both Swarm and Stinger. AJ?
Yeah, when you
What?
think damage and hunters, this is often one of the first ones that comes to mind.
Yeah.
He's been an interesting balance target over the
Oh,
years because he's
not
often
at all.
extremely strong or nobody wants to play him at all. He's currently in the strong
right
section
now.
of those two.
I'm
We're
just
trying to
They might be
keep
doing this
you know,
'cause
we're
they
trying
didn't
to
hit the
avoid
power
sending
on
him back
hunter
to the
items
shadow
very
realm
hard.
he has been in the past. But we are going to be seeing damage nerf on the Swarm, his key lane clearing, key poke
Yeah,
ability, as
AMC's
well as the
ult,
Stinger,
30%
which, again,
pen
kind of
shred is a
the Zeus
little
change
fucking
recently
broke.
got some new utility.
Yeah.
Which is great. We're really happy with the way we're introducing some of this new utility to the gods, but it is very important to remove the damage that they were.
Yeah.
Gods who are relying only on damage tend to be some of the less fun to play or a little bit less or more difficult to balance. Introducing new utility and taking out damage is a great way to make the god more interesting, more counterplay, more unique applications, but that damage has got to come down, and that's what's coming down here, as well as that slow, which was a new introduction coming down again.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. You want to, if the ability's one hitting, then like, oh, there's no counterplay, there's no
Damage
so,
nerf, CC nerf. Damage nerf, CC nerf.
Boom, good to go. Nerfing all the bugs. Next up, Apollo across the sky, decreasing some physical power scaling.
Yeah, this one's pretty targeted. It's going to be on the ultimate. Obviously, he got a little bit of utility on that a little while
Pretty
back. and
targeted at
we've
what?
noticed that
Targeted
kind
at
of the
not
difference
doing
between
anything?
really strong Apollos and really weak Apollos is depending, or in performance, is when you can get multiple channels, multiple ticks of that channel of across the sky. Because you're getting the 5% scaling, but it's per tick. If you've ever seen someone get...
Ooh, that hits so hard if you could get the
I
whole
think it's
thing.
just hard to
You're into a locked
visualize
space and
all
you hit
these
by the entire
little
thing, you're
nerfs
being decimated.
combined into the
Probably
game
pretty
at the
fair,
same
bringing
time.
down the top end a little bit of that damage from Apollo.
Sounds good. Next up, Hu Yi, little, what is it, Golden Crow, little brought down, little nerf. AJ?
Yeah,
That
this
needs
is
to
a
happen.
smaller nerf.
Micro
Hogan
nerf
saw a
needs
bit
to
of his,
happen.
showing up in the meta. He's slowed down a little bit, but he's always lurking there because he's very good at high level and he can do really cool things with his ricochet and jungle clear. So Mark of the Golden Crow actually provides just flat damage increase on the person you've marked, which a lot of people underestimate the power of this effect. So we're only taking you down 1% per rank, but when you apply that to all of his abilities and the duration that the mark lasts on you, that is effectively doing a small base and scaling nerf to his entire kit.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
So good to see that. Next up, Izanami. Been seeing a lot of Izanami, especially with that skin that dropped. I feel like I'm seeing it everywhere, which
People love that skin. Thank you, everybody.
yeah, we love it too. Glad y'all do as well. But it also is horrifying because she'll be invisible and then I'll be dead from sickles. So Sickle Storm getting nerfed a little bit.
10% attack speed is nuts.
It's an
Holy
extremely high
shit.
potent ability with that attack speed that's coming in. Even more so if you start building the Silver Branch builds on her. We saw a lot of, we saw a lot of Izanami, especially coming in before the T5. Actually, she was quite a popular god, and even after the Tier 5. But around the time that we were even planning some of these nerfs, she was definitely one that deserves to be up there, especially because of her popularity. But we started seeing, the SPL coming in, high-level ranked coming in, stats coming in, and she was dropping off a favor. You don't, in fact, with the SPL, she was played.
Izanami's kind of a bait, to be honest.
Much more in season 8 than in season 9.
Way less now. So she definitely deserved to be on this list. It's a little bit lighter of a nerf.
Most people pick Izanami and then just get fucking railed in team fights.
She's a little lower on the current Hunter tier list.
Yeah, so accounting for that. Next up, we're gonna have Medusa.
This is
getting decreased just a little bit.
This is a nerf that needs to happen because of the plebers being able to free clear.
So for a god that's actually on the top of the Hunter tier list, you are going to see here more nerfs. You're going to see base and so base damage to Viper Shot as well as attack speed on Viper Shot. The Viper Shot attack speed number is huge, and it's a very short. It only applies to those shots, so it really just kind of connects the combo there. So that's not the most impactful buff, but that number.
If they only nerf the one,
is crazy.
She'll be
tick
fine.
damage is certainly going to add up when you consider that base damage across, multiplying it times 12 effectively, because you got about 3 ticks times 4 shots. And then also Lacerate being her dash, which has recently got a lot of improvements. Quality of life, being able to hit minions, being able to dash through things, being able to...
hey, not just that. 3 getting nerfed as well?
The anti-heal got moved off it. With that whole shift and buff, we saw Medusa come way up, so seeing another damage nerf here on Lacerate, which a huge burst combo, right? She could hit you with this, so that's going to all be coming down.
That's good. I mean, she definitely dives in on you, and you're like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm at the respawn screen, so I'll just hang out here. Good to see that happen. Next up, we're moving into Guardian territory now. So our Guardians are as well going to see some nerfs, and we're starting with Ardeo. So the big half-lady, half-horrifying bear monster is seeing Energy Surge and Heavy Charge both being brought down.
It's just the early game. Oh, okay, never mind. Heavy Charge late game.
The itemization, we've kind of got 2 different types. We've got the support Guardians, and we've got the solo lane.
Fuck, Ardeo is right, dude.
Most recently,
we don't care about that god at all.
Solo Bruiser playstyle. We're going to have those heavy itemization changes like Celestial Legion Helm and Vampiric Crown, which should really help in the meta for Conquest. But of course, we have to keep an eye on what else she can provide in other game modes as well. Ardeo is definitely one that's up there. We are targeting her base damage across the, 2 main heavy hitters for her kit. This is going to help her. This is going to hurt her in lane, which is going to help bring her down and her efficacy in lane a little bit more. And it's going to be a little bit not as punishing to battle her out in lane, right? To box her in lane. So, hopefully she won't be as frustrating to deal with.
Hopefully. So this next one, I had to cry off the studio for about 20 minutes before I was able to read. Atlas getting a nerf as well. Kinetic Charge being brought down.
You know he deserves it. You know.
I know it still hurts.
Only Kinetic Charge.
I mean, Guardian's probably one of the most straightforward on the whole nerf patch. Every single one of them is getting base damage. It's that simple, right? We know we've seen the stats, we've seen the feedback. It's very clear. Some of them also have peppered in a few scaling nerfs if we've been seeing them flex into solo lane a little bit, or like we're spoiler alert, get to Kabrakan at the end, who's building straight up full mage. So there is some scaling nerfs across here, but Atlas, specifically this dash ability, doing a lot of damage, bringing that down. I think there's a couple different mobility.
I thought they were gonna nerf like the pool or something too. It's like a quality of life fucking nerf.
We can take down the damage too.
He just wants to get closer to give you a hug. That's all it is.
It's a mighty hug.
Now, if you want to talk Guardian damage, we got the next god is ready to talk.
True, and the next god is Ares, and that Ares is having some shackles damage taken off.
No, not after all these years.
Shackles are weaker now. I mean, there's times where Ares gets into the meta. There's times where you can say his flamethrower with the buffs and his ulti is quite strong. I don't think anyone has ever debated that the Shackles damage on Ares is too
I'm
much.
pretty sure that's gonna be a lot of fucking damage.
It straight one-shots people if you just don't. It's like one of the few abilities in the game that can. If you hit with all the chains
and you
hit all the
spread them
refires
out at the right
spread
time,
the damage
always
out.
remember to do that. Yeah, you can actually one-shot. I mean, I love to do it. I think anyone
It's
like
very
Ares likes to do it.
It's a really slow one-shot, but I guess it still counts.
It does.
So yeah, Ares is one of the gods who, again, looking at all the metrics, looking at what's popular right now, what's strong. Ares
it's really easy to play in the current meta, especially with Jimmy. You pick up Jimmy and you just fucking.
It's not going to hurt his lane
are
too
good to
much
go.
because he's got a unique minion damage. It's just his PvP damage, which I think is really good for him.
Yeah, so no more insanely slow one-shotting hunters. So next up we have Bacchus, Intoxicate, also seeing some decrease. If you want to get into that, AJ.
Yeah, this is the Guardian nuke, right? This one hits real hard, so we're getting just
real hard, real fast.
base and scaling.
Uncle Bacchus is dead, boys.
A noticeable amount.
Jungle
40 damage at
Bacchus
max rank. That's a pretty significant.
no longer exists.
These are a lot of these nerfs are bigger nerfs than you might see on a normal patch as well.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why. You don't usually see a 40 base damage nerf on a normal patch.
No.
Full damage mid
like we said, we're
Bacchus
shooting
is
for the moon
dead.
on this one. We heard y'all. We want to give y'all what y'all want. We're really
How
getting
much
into
do we
it.
really heal
Next
these
up, this
slight
one was
nerfs?
teased 4 seconds
We
ago.
swap those
Kraken,
nerfs
seismic
and
crush,
nerfs.
tectonic
Are
shift,
there
both
really
seeing some
any big
nerfage.
changes?
I'll be honest. When we were having our meetings, we were talking about different cards that could be hit.
Yeah.
Kraken's one of those who I was like, okay, we were talking about Kraken, maybe it's a solo bruiser, and then
bit,
I
yeah.
wasn't even sure how much he deserved. We looked at the stats, we looked at his SPL performance, and like, yeah, okay, he is
swinging
on
right
the
now.
list. Like,
Yeah.
we're seeing him mostly picked as a jungler right now. We're
Yeah.
seeing a little bit of maybe solo, a little bit of support.
Kraken's
but
so
yeah,
boring, so they can kill
think
him for
he
all I
absolutely
care.
deserves to be on this list. We're hitting him in 2 different spots: the seismic crush and the tectonic shift. All base like damage, base
Yeah.
damage and scaling. 70%, 60% I think is totally fine for a guardian, even
Oh,
if it's
yeah.
a bruiser one.
Right.
And he might need more nerfs after watching the SPL.
Yeah, he's been really good.
Yeah, the damage output recently has been insane, so I'm honestly happy to see it. Last but not least, on the Guardian section, we're going to have Cerberus, Paralyzing Spit, also seeing a little bit of nerfage.
Yeah, Cerberus may be a little bit towards
They're
the
not
lower end
showing
of
us
the tier
the
list of what
numbers
would be
for some
making
reason?
cut to get nerfed today, but
they skipped-
Paralyzing Spit is one of the
They
single
skipped
hardest
Kraken.
hitting burst abilities
so
on a
good.
Guardian.
Yeah.
Hitting with all 4 hits. A lot of people think of 3, but they forget about the little snake. That's
Yeah,
the 4th hit.
that last
There's actually
little-
4. So it hits very hard. So we are nerfing that, and we already went ahead and did the math for you. It's actually 28 damage flat if you get the math.
Yeah,
That's it?
there you go. We
How's
even do
this
math on
patch
this
so
show.
far?
It's
Sometimes.
incredible. Sometimes, yeah. Don't hold us to that.
We do a
So-
lot of math. We're game designers. We just don't talk about it. It's not very fun.
Yeah, mostly because, talking about it's painful and hard, and I don't have enough fingers. So the final thing that we're going to talk about in the God section is actually, it's a rework. It's just a rework. I'm just going to lay it out there. Erlang Shen having a lot of changes made, kind of continuing this trend of trying to see what we
What?
can change on a bit grander of a scale in these updates.
The pro players are going to be rejoicing if this is a good fucking
Yeah, so I
change.
might be referencing my notes here bit by bit, so apologies, because this
So
is
much.
normally for a God rework, we write out a very long blog post that explains a lot of our reasoning and our goals.
Yeah.
You can find that all on the patch notes on the patch notes document. Shout outs to our recent design acquire Hi-Res Agro, who worked on this very heavily and worked with me quite a bit on it and worked with me on this messaging. So great job. Feel free to contact him for your feedback and
You
praise or
just threw him under the bus, dude.
Praise.
Erlang Shen
Praise.
has had an interesting history in Smite.
Very
He was
much so.
considered a little underwhelming by the general player base. He eventually found his pro footing in a variety of different roles in a variety of different metas, where he was just the best god in his category, depending on the time and place.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much never in the solo lane. And one of the things we also learned from the circuit changes is just the way the community perceives flex gods. We like flex gods. We want to continue to encourage flex gods. But specifically, why do we want to rework Erlang Shen?
Yeah.
And that is because he has pretty much shown over the last 2+ years of SPL data that he is one of the top junglers. And he tends to push out a lot of other junglers out of the meta.
I think Erlang Shen's about to
He was
be
the number 3
a
most
new
banned god
solo
in the
laner.
Season 9 kickoff tournament, number 5 most banned god in SWC Season 8. He also had extremely high priority pick and bans in the beginning of this, just a few.
If they
weeks
swap him
of
to an assassin,
the
that's fine
actual
with
Season
me.
9 SPL splits. So he's clearly up there for priority and pro play. However, his popularity in normal conquest is towards the bottom pack, number 77.
Because he's not fun to play.
So he's really
He's
popular
really
in the pro
good,
meta,
but really boring.
Players still aren't picking him up. That's usually a good sign for a character for a rework.
Yeah.
He also way overperforms in his flex role. So generally, we love flex. We like flex.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not believe us. We're going to try to earn your trust back.
I wonder if they're making him an assassin or they're pushing him into the solo lane.
4% win rate increase in jungle over solo or support, which is a huge difference.
Yeah.
That's a really big buff. Trying to get those back. Really, the main goal of the rework today is to bring down his jungle a little bit, bring up his solo a little bit. We don't want to kill his jungle.
Told you.
We just want to bring it down and shift it over. So, how are we going to do that? We want to incentivize players to max the spot weakness ability. This ability makes him really good solo laner because you're boxing.
Yeah.
You're hitting a lot of basic attacks. We also are going to make the 72 transformations less of priority. He's going to be seeing a significant removal, the loss of his CC.
What the
on the turtle
fuck?
form that is being removed. Another, CC change. A lot of players asking for CC changes, CC removal.
Of course.
We know that it is a
What?
huge nerf to a god. So with Erlang Shen removing a CC and adding a significant other new things to shift him around, it'll be a good experiment. It'll be a good data point. Let's see.
Oh, what?
Let's see. There's so much going on
Yeah,
with this
literally,
kit.
it has just been.
I feel like everything I
so
just
many
read still
nodes.
makes him an
Crazy.
insane jungler.
I mean, I'll go over the quick TLDR now of the kit itself. So Howling Celestial Dog is going to do less flat damage, but more damage based on target's max health. So
Yeah.
better anti-tank, better for being against other warriors.
Yeah.
Spot Weakness is going to have less bonus damage and less bonus damage scaling significantly, so weaker power. But it's going to get a new component where it now gives Erlang Shen lifesteal, so sustain and solo lane.
Yeah.
And applies a stacking debuff that reduces the opponent's power,
Okay.
which is really
He's
cool.
gonna be a
Or, yeah,
1v1,
Yeah, damage.
1v2
so this lets him
fucking
actually
legend.
cause opposing warriors.
Actually,
to
he's
deal
gonna
less
get
damage.
CC'd a lot, so
You can
probably
use this as a
not.
Peel feature. You have a lot of ways you can do this.
Oh,
A
yeah.
boxing feature.
Way more utility on that
Yeah.
one.
Exactly. Much
Bro,
more
honestly,
utility.
yeah, they're gonna throw him in
72
support.
transformations is now going to be knock-up immune and slow immune while dashing. That's just going to make it a better dash, more consistent
Yeah.
dash. We've been doing things like that across the game. Atlas was one situation.
And it's also
People really
slowly
wanted.
a little bit more comparative points to like Sun Wukong, who has similar things depending on which transformation he's in.
Right. Mink form is getting a buff now where it's going to get bonus movement speed. So if you do want to be aggressive and get that attack speed, you'll also get the movement speed so you can really stick on that
15%
target.
movement speed isn't
Lance
that
mentioned
much.
basic
Like, it'll
attacks.
be good early, but it's
Turtle
not that
is
nuts.
losing the knockup, the biggest nerf of the whole rework.
Yeah, losing the knockup
And
is kind of a
instead
big
it's gonna
deal.
get protection scaling on the shield. So it's going to get a bigger base shield, and that shield is going to continue to
Bro,
get
watch
bigger
him just
if
be
you
a
buy
fucking
protection items.
insane
So if you actually
solo
go
with his
full,
ability to
like,
1v1 and
Erlang or
1v2.
Hybrid Erlang, you're going to be getting less shield health from this. And then finally, 9 turns Blessing is getting increased damage mitigation just to make him a little bit tankier during assault.
He's literally
So
going to be
there's
an
a lot of
auto
shit
attack.
all over this
Hard
kit. We really
auto
wanna see
attack
people,
solo laner.
One, just be more interested in trying this god in the first place.
Of course.
2, we want to see him try in multiple roles. We fully expect people to keep playing in jungle. That's
Yeah.
great. We think he will be a little less competitive there, but hopefully we can see him show up in solo or support as well.
Wow. That was a lot. I mean,
Nice.
that was so many things.
It was
We were sitting around beforehand like, man, we're not going to be able to talk tomorrow.
68 or something. I forgot to actually add it up. Total nerfs.
Honestly,
Again,
he sounded
not the
kind of
show we have
like
sometimes.
sounds kind of boring on paper.
Live now.
That
Go check
Erlang,
it
the
out.
Erlang Shen
I mean,
changes.
Again, just a
Sound really
huge
boring on
amount of
paper.
nerfs. We really wanted to touch everything. We wanted to do everything we could to, take the feedback that we've been getting about CC about.
Double-sided.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are double-sided.
Yeah. It's like a novel. So yeah, but that's gonna end the 9-4 nerf section. So all of that actually coming out next week. As I'm sure a lot of y'all know, we're in a new schedule right now.
Yeah,
so you'll be looking
exciting.
forward to this update coming out next week on Tuesday.
So soon, so excited.
Right around the corner, you'll be able to get to all of this stuff right away. I mean, the countdown starts now essentially, but look forward to all of that because we're excited to share it. We're excited to see y'all get into this. Now we're moving into community news.
Yeah, wait, what's
Nerf,
the other
community
rework?
news this time, so we can take a Nerf breather. So first up, I just want to remind y'all about the Prime Gaming skins that are currently available. Currently, Rambo Uller is available for claim through Prime Gaming, so make sure that y'all are going and claiming that skin. We're super excited about it. We've loved this, and we love to see it in game. Following that,
An
though,
item
actually,
rework. It wasn't even an
we're gonna
item
show y'all guys
rework.
something
They just
new.
made it so it only procced
A
on
new
gods.
Prime Gaming skin will be coming soon after the glorious Rambo, and that's going to be Shredder Ravana, Super Shredder Ravana. So we're excited to show that off. That'll be available May 5th. And yeah, it's another brand new Ninja Turtle skin that, again, we're just all extremely excited about. Oh, look at them.
It's a
I
recolor.
love it. That like dark color palette is so good. So super excited. We're excited to have this in game. It'll be available May 5th.
All right, bro. I'm trying not to be like
SPL
super
news is also
negative.
something that we're gonna have more of, and that's just the SPL's going. It's rocking on. Make sure y'all are catching.
I also
the games.
don't
It's
wanna get
super
hyped for
exciting.
something that
Glad to
isn't
have
that
SPL
good.
back because, I mean, what else do you turn on while you're chilling in the afternoons on the weekend? There's nothing else. It's constantly Twitch, constantly.
Not a
SPL,
recolor?
and I'm super excited that we're able to have. All of
Isn't
that.
this literally a recolor?
And next is actually kind of a big thing. So we put out a blog about this as well as the update notes today, so y'all can get into it now. But the Smite standalone launcher we're waving it.
Hold on,
goodbye.
isn't there already that exact same
For
skin
those
in
of
the
you who
game?
don't know that the launcher has been
Oh, it
unavailable
has
for a
new
long time now,
spikes.
so people haven't been able to download it. You can
My
still use
bad.
it if you had it originally or had never uninstalled it, but it is going away as of 9/4. It's not going to be updated anymore. So if you are using that, make sure you hop
Shut
over to
up!
one of the other platforms.
Shut your dick
This isn't
up, you
gonna
little
affect
baby back
anything,
bitch!
for the
Get the
other
fuck out of my
platforms. So
stream!
Steam, Epic Game Store, Amazon Luna. You'll be able to play through all of that. But with 9/4
Sorry, they're
update,
closing
you will
the
no longer be able to use
standalone
the
launcher, which they told you
standalone
last
launcher.
week, the week before
again,
that, and the week before
with
that.
cross-
Open your
or
goddamn
with the,
ears. Go download the game on
account
Steam.
sharing between accounts, You have nothing to worry about as long as your accounts are linked up. Everything is going to be available on any of the other PC platforms.
Go download it on
So just
Steam.
make sure that you link those accounts up. But again, the standalone launcher is seeing its final goodbye with update 9.4. So for those of you who have used it, wish it a wonderful farewell, and we'll be excited to see all of y'all join on Steam, Epic Games Store, or Amazon Luna. So with that, we're going to rotate into a little bit of quality of life here, and also welcome our newest guest to the couch, Lermy.
Hey.
Yeah, welcome, Lermy. You should have seen it. It was horrifying. About 12 seconds ago, that couch ate clumsy, so that was scary. Glad you were brave enough to sit there, though. So we have a little bit of quality of life, AJ, if you want to go through
Lermy,
that.
I'm jealous. You got to be
Yeah,
able to watch the
what
feedback
are these
while we're doing the
changes?
Nerf.
What are
How's
these
it working?
quality
People
of life
happy out there?
changes?
Yeah, I think it's
Because the
honestly
quality
really
of my
fantastic
Smite life is
that
dog
everyone's
shit
gonna
right
get a
now.
chance to experience like all of the new shifts that are going to come from all of the nerfs, especially.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we'll see a lot of new gods rise to the top, new items, new builds, new strategies, and that's going to be the biggest exciting part for me.
So
New
good.
items and new
Awesome. I know we
builds?
don't
What?
have any Twitch chat. I don't have my Twitter feed up. You know, I feel.
Is this the original
I'm
skin
blind,
tally?
I'm lost. I need to hear what the people want. I'm gonna have to
I know.
wait
Bro,
for
it's the
show.
same.
All right, first we got some quality of life things to go over though. First
It's a
thing,
better
I just wanna
reskin.
reassure everyone that our team is working on the server connectivity issues.
Of course.
We've been still working to mitigate
Oh.
some of the resulting issues from an attack we had last week. We do have a significant performance fix going live with this 9.4 update.
Yeah.
But we're going to be continually monitoring.
What is a
that, up
performance
to that.
fix?
It is a high priority for us, but this is a very new type of challenge we've experienced here in this last week, and we do apologize and thank you for bearing with us. Improvements are on the way and shipping with the 9.4 patch.
Yeah.
In a more fun announcement, we have the achievement avatar for 120 gods mastered. Being Jade Emperor, being god number 120.
is-
So that will be an exciting thing to get. Log in and make sure you master that god and get that avatar. We also have some really nice quality of life updates to the jungle practice mode.
Yeah.
Oh,
Our
shit.
Olympians and people who are
Let's
always advocating
fucking
for improvements
go,
on that mode. So we do
boys.
have a new area that'll be classified as the jungle. So areas where the god bots are, the fire giant,
The
the Goku, and
jungle?
the buff camps will now be considered jungle volume. So
Oh
you can use items like
my
protectors
God.
that actually apply there now. We
This is
also
crazy.
added a button spawner in the Tower and Phoenix area to spawn a Titan. You can fight and scrim against the Titan. And we also added some HUD health bars. Those are the ones you normally would see in a game. When you enter a boss area, there's an additional pop-up health bar that comes
Yeah.
up. That'll also now work in jungle practice. And the final quality of life announcement I have is that we are now in 9.4. We did talk about this a little bit previously, but we hadn't executed it yet. But in 9.4, we will start rotating the viewer store every 2 weeks, as opposed to 4 weeks. That means you'll have twice as many
Sign me
different
up!
skins to spend those
I
free
can't
viewer
wait.
points you earn on.
This
but it also
is
means that they will be
fucking
there for a certain number of times. So if you want that skin,
crazy.
make sure you get your
on
points
it,
or
yeah.
get ahead of it, because at the essentially so now
Bruh.
at going forward, every launch day.
So the
there'll
whole
be
quality of
viewer
life
points,
changes
viewer
where-
point skins, and then every bonus
Bonus,
day.
yeah.
also
Servers.
viewer point skins.
Exist.
We also have a lot of bug fixes.
And
I'm
that's
not
it.
going to go through them all right now, but
Yeah.
please check the patch notes, check those out. Kitten and Doom helped me write these up, and she's just been working so hard verifying all those from QA team and getting them through the system. So please check them out. We have quick shout out to our Olympians for helping us fix a large amount of localization
Olympians.
issues in the Spanish language client of Smite, as well as some custom games, God Builder fixes, UI fixes, and gods and items. So definitely check those out.
So many things. Yeah, that document is living and breathing. I look at it and then I'll take a sip of water and look back, and there's 15 new things and comments and questions. So super great. A lot of info there. Love to see all of that. And that kind of goes to our quality of life. I'm excited now to hop into something that y'all were aware of a while ago, and we're finally getting into the game in 9.4, and that is the Streamer Showdown. If y'all recall, Season 9 began with a little competition that we hosted with Nexus called the Season 9 Streamer Showdown, where we gave streamers the opportunity to earn in-game cosmetic items for being amazing content creators, for rallying their communities. And this is the update in which you're going to see those things come into the game. So I'm going to go through the different winners here, and we'll kind of show off a little bit. So third place winner was Incon. So congratulations to Incon. He'll be getting an announcer pack in-game for coming in third place. A huge triumph, because there were a lot of talented people there.
We're
Second place, you're
complaining?
going to
Why
see
are you
Weekend,
spamming, Rizzy?
with a global emote coming into the game. So that's as well very exciting. Going to have the emote, or the global emote, live in game with 9.4. And of course, we have our first place winner, Rexy, who did an amazing
Rexy's
job.
looks pretty good, too.
rallied their
he showed me
community.
his.
It was incredible to watch.
Seen all his stuff.
And Rexy is going to have several things in game. You're going to have an announcer pack, a ward, and an emo.
Remember when they
bundle,
were only going
all
to give him the
available for
same shit as
Rexy.
Incon, even though he came in first?
An incredible
Good
amount of
times.
effort came from these creators. Absolutely excited.
Yeah, we
to
tried
see all
real
the
hard,
work
boys.
They did.
You guys did a
and
good
All
job.
of these will be claimable for free with update
We didn't try
9.4.
very
Each
hard,
of them
guys.
has their own unique mission tied to it. So when you get in game, you'll see, hey, I got a couple new missions, and I'm going to get some.
You have to do
really, really awesome
667
community-centric,
damage to get my
swag
global
that I get
emote,
to show off and
by
support
the
my
way.
community with starting in 9.4. So again, huge shout out to Incon Weekend and Rexy for all of their amazing work and how hard they pushed themselves and rallied their communities for this competition. Super excited. to
More
see
than
all of their content
667.
back.
Come on, that's like one Odin combo.
So make sure you get them. Super excited. Again, I love shouting out our community because we love our
Incon should have just got a ward. You're right.
so,
He should have got the smallest
now we're
thing.
getting into some of our skins, one of my favorite sections of the show. I love getting to see all these new skins. I really don't see them a whole lot before this, so it's always amazing and surprising. And let's dive right in with a DLC for Zeus coming out with 9.4. This DLC will include the amazing new skin Almighty Archon Zeus, which is absolutely glorious. I mean, it looks beautiful.
Archon line, one of our most popular lines of skins, and I love the Almighty throw.
Hold on,
little
guys.
Reference to one
After
of the
seeing these
skins. Now he
patches,
has
this
got
patch
an Almighty
notes.
Archon instead of just this old Almighty skin, which is it's quite old. But this is
quite
the
old.
opposite of that. This is cutting edge beauty and tech, and it is extremely clean and smooth. And I was like, I remember when I joined the team, and I was like, "Yo, check this out! I gotta show you this before it comes out." And he was like, "Yo, that's sick."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up to date with the memes too, pondering the orb there in the card art.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
Zeus always ponders the orb. He does it in his base card art as well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
He's been pondering the orb before orbs were even pondered.
Dude, true. OG Orb Ponderer. So an absolutely amazing skin and super excited about it. I love
I forgot to turn the
that
screen
magical
off.
back floating ring thing with the wings on it. I don't know what to call it, but it's absolutely incredible.
It's an angel. It's a biblically accurate angel.
It is.
Obviously.
Obviously. We're always biblically accurate. All right, let's hear the voice line.
I sense dark forces corrupting this realm. To me, my angels, we must eliminate all traces of evil at once.
That sounds like a great voice line to play before assembling like an Archon team, a skin-wide team, and then
Can you build a full Archon team yet?
You've
Not-
got to be really close.
Yeah.
or you probably
have
can build
to
an
be.
angel team, but you might have we got Ra and Zeus now, so that's too many
There's
mages.
Umoja as well.
Yeah, there's Thanatos, the original.
Echo on the voice. That's new.
really
We're
aesthetically
doing that
pleasing.
later.
So this will be again a DLC available. It will come
That's
with
a cool-
400 gems
Wait,
and the
DLC?
Stormbringer avatar. So make sure y'all are looking out for that.
What did he just say?
Next up, we have the psychedelic chest with the magic dragon Tiamat.
Did I hear that
I'm
right?
excited to see. Oh, look at how
Oh,
good that
she's
looks.
meditating. That's cute.
Yeah.
Does this one launch on 420, or is it? Oh, it's the day
It's
before.
419.
Yeah,
so it's
419.
very
Close
close.
enough. Close enough.
Yeah. So
Those of you who celebrate at midnight or 4:20 a.m. you know.
exactly. For no particular
It's a
reason.
bundle?
But
That's not
really
DLC.
something different with Tiamat that takes it. It's still cool looking, right?
Oh,
It still has a lot of
wow.
detail because we did the cuter skin, but I really like how this has the fairy dragon style. You know, it's kind of
Yeah.
an archetype you've seen across many different games and RPGs, but it's something we've talked about a long time on the Smite team, and I feel like they nailed it with this one. The colors, the butterfly
Oh my
wings,
gosh,
the
yeah.
psychedelic colors, the like.
I like this
She has a
skin.
cool, sleek look
It's
to her. and she
kinda
doesn't really look
weird
cute
for
and silly, but
Smite.
She just looks
Honestly.
Yeah, like pure elegance.
The
and, like,
face looks like
changing
it's from that
colors, the, like,
fucking
RGB
what's
fins.
the movies?
Incredible.
Chibi Fins.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
she's
are
a
the
gamer.
dragon
She's a
movies?
gamer
The
too.
cartoon ones?
So one thing that I have to shout, or a couple things to shout out, because I'm trying to talk to our artists who do all
How to
this hard
Train Your
work and
Dragon
stuff.
or whatever? Yeah,
And,
that
this
face
has
looks
a
like it's
really
straight
cool
out of
VHD
those
from what I
movies.
hear that
But the
causes
rest of the
even
body
more,
just
incredible glow.
looks like it hit
Make sure y'all
steroids.
check that out in game. And there's also been
And
some
puberty at
adjustments
the
to
same
sound
time.
to make it sound a little more trippy, but also based in nature. It's something that's
What
hard
about
to
Battle Bard?
describe, but is amazing to hear in game. And I guess let's start out by hearing the voice line.
Let's spread some peace and love and awesomeness.
And awesomeness. That's
There's always an
I use that word too
echo,
often, I've been told,
buckaroos.
So I'm all about it, and we'll be using this skin.
New
on
skin?
Tuesday next
Echo
week.
voice
Woohoo.
back.
So super exciting. Super excited for this. because
Razy,
pro
everyone else is getting theirs today.
Next
You're not
up,
getting yours.
Actually, some more skins from the Heavenly
I
Light.
don't wanna
event,
give you
which I'm
them.
Super excited to show off, and we'll start with Shadow Bloom Persephone.
Oh
Oh.
my goodness. This is a sick entry into the shadow line of skins with
Yeah.
all the forest spirits, and she's got all her plants and her skeletal forest friend. Oh, that's gonna look sick.
That is so sick.
a little darker take down that. We've been going more positive characters, more like good aligned characters in the Shadow Spirits, but this one's got a little bit more of a dark twist to it.
Yeah, the like wooden skull flowers definitely does throw that dark twist into it.
Yeah,
for sure.
buckaroos, dude.
Yeah,
but
those flowers are
still
creepy.
cool.
Ooh, and
This
it
looks
so-
like
I
every
love the
other
contrast of
fucking
that,
Izanami
like, bright
skin,
blue
bro,
against the
with some
dark
feathers.
undertone. It's such an amazing look. Ooh, and the braid.
It
game.
sucks too because the
Yeah, right,
artists
your hair
doing
is
this
so
are doing a
nice.
really good job.
Can I do my
It's
hair
just
like that?
so
Like,
similar to
someone
everything
do
else
that,
that it's
please.
fucking boring.
That is super incredible, and of course, as always, a lot of hard work goes into this, and we're excited to see it in game because just all of the different animations that this character has. I can't wait to see.
Or
the whole
Persephone,
title.
sorry. The
So
Persephone skin
it's
looks
such
like
a powerful
Izanami. It looks like everything else in the
design,
game.
too.
It's
let's
also
do the voice
Persephone
line.
after the nerf. Ain't nobody playing Persephone.
I sense the forest is in pain. I will catch these intruders and expel them at once.
Definitely a little evil, but like
She's protecting her forest.
yeah,
though.
okay.
Yeah.
she's
Yo, can I
protecting
do
her
echo
forest,
with my
her
fucking
forest and her flowers?
XLR? Hold
So
on.
don't go stepping on her flowers, or you'll be having some problems.
Yeah, true. I hear they bite back. That's the rumor I hear anyway. So next up in the Heavenly Light event is another.
There's a
skin that I'm
robot.
just so
I don't know.
excited about Croc
Where is
Father Sobek.
Oh my goodness, this one is.
Do I sound like them now?
I mean,
Do I sound like all the
even
voice
have to
packs?
Say anything. Look at how he's just got all the swag.
Yeah.
We gotta have a meme skin every now and then, and this one has been more of an internal meme than a community meme, but just getting so.
I want to fucking be able to set that up just to pre-do all of their fucking things.
This felt really fitting for him, and here he is with his very nice fashion. He's got some jewelry going on, his sunglasses, his hat. He's chilling.
Yeah, that's a Croc living his best life, 100%. I don't know how else to say it. And look at it, he's got his friends along with him. They
Those
look-
are
We
his
need a
henchmen?
steal his look.
What the fuck are the
Like,
two?
Yes.
Where can I buy that outfit,
True.
Andy? I need to know.
Yeah,
don't know
if
what's
anybody
going on
wants to
anymore.
throw that at us, or we'll get it out as
Just
well.
someone needs to track down Anatoly for where we get that outfit.
Yeah. Look at the drip. That is so good.
Oh my gosh, he's got the drip. He's absolutely got the drip.
That jacket is incredible.
Okay.
Bro,
someone
his
needs to
little
make that
pants,
jacket,
dude.
Though, because come on, the gold on the back with the croc, that's so
Nice.
sick.
I would wear that. If I knew how to make things, I would wear that on the update show. Next update show.
I like those pants with that subtle pattern. Like that's my style.
The Gucci drip.
Truly a Croc that knows what's going on in life.
Probably not.
Probably not. Oh. All
What
right, let's
is
hear the
this,
Croc's
dude?
voice line.
Everyone wants to be a part of my gang. You think you got what it takes?
Hey, I'm walking here.
I
No,
definitely
no
don't
echo,
got what
I'm
it
so
takes,
proud.
But is that all right? I need the rotation to go one more time. It looks like that's a giant switchblade almost. Like it kind of has that handle. That maybe I'm wrong, but it looked very switchblade.
No, it's got that feel to it.
Yeah,
for
a
sure.
little bit,
But It's
okay.
supposed to have a crime boss inspiration, So
Yeah.
that would make sense.
So also, I wonder how hard it is to get a pair of pants tailored with a Croc tail hole.
It doesn't
Anyway,
look like he tailored it at all.
yeah, true. He just made it work.
They all gonna be custom tailored, which he would do anyway because he's that swag.
Exactly. So again, the skin is about the money, and our design team definitely put that influence in. So you'll see that if you play this in game. Next up is Honorable Machina Tier, another Heavenly Light skin. Oh, it's so good. The Jade is immaculate.
Very new type of armor set.
Echo for sure. You think so? It's giving off Echo
I
vibes.
don't think that was intentional.
Had to laugh there.
We
Oh
have
gosh,
this,
babe, what did you say?
mech type of theme that we kind of ideated ourselves here at Hi-Res Studios that includes a lot of more fantasy and stone and metal that doesn't feel.
They're going
as
with the Jade for the
futuristic.
Jade Emperor drop,
Tier
dude.
is
Good.
he's got a really
synergy
big
there.
silhouette with a lot of places to show off cool armor, which
Yeah.
works really well for this skin.
Yeah, that is absolutely sick. I love the contrast, by the way, of those like nice pops of the bright yellowy orange. It's like a perfect complement there to that like jade, bluish.
Yeah, that's not
green
really
kind of
Jade,
metal
right?
popping out of there. That's so sick.
I feel like it's a very big,
very aqua.
new twist on the ancient mech line, which they don't usually have as much color in there. It's usually a little bit more stone metal.
I don't like
feel,
this.
But then we really brought the color alive in this
I
one.
don't know if I
and
dislike
do not
it,
regret at all.
but I don't
Yeah,
think I like it.
That's great.
From the lost hand to the orb and the sword, you're totally right. It really draws.
Well,
your
Jade
eyes
is
to all this
green.
focus.
That is not
It's
Jade.
really great to look at.
Definitely way more aqua.
Let's hear the voice line.
Let the ancients lead us to victory.
Nope, not funny.
Yeah. Not,
No
not
echo?
funny.
No echo?
Not haha.
Only
rabbit
you
tier.
tier mains will get that one.
Yeah. All right, so the last of the new skins coming out. in
Cyan,
9.4,
sure, we'll go with that.
Heavenly Light event is going to be Bionic Demon Gilgamesh.
This is a brand new theme, new style, higher tier skin. This is a big one. What he's got, very new random sets, some other new things added on. But really, what this is kind of a mech demon hybrid theme.
Which is
What do you think about
The two most popular themes in Smite.
What do you think?
Put them together.
What do you think about the patch notes?
How did we not think of this sooner?
I mean, he's just got chainsaws on chainsaws on chainsaws. And can I say, for playing this
What do you
game
think
in
about the patch
playtest,
notes?
his auto attack sound is perhaps the most satisfying sound I have heard in game. It's got the like revving of the chainsaw, like so good, man.
Nice.
And
he looks great. I'm sure
That is
he
a cool
feels great to
skin.
play.
All right, that's actually a
Confirmed.
really
Buy it
good
for me.
skin.
You know that's
the best skin.
That's a high
With the
review right
moving
there.
that is
chainsaw
high
stuff, that's
remarks.
dope.
And I can definitely follow up with what you said about
see
those
the skin?
sounds, because
Do you
the
see
sound
it?
team, they told me, they're like, listen, we cannot stress enough how
see it?
excited we were to really work in those chainsaw sounds to make it as appealing and kind of rough too. They wanted that that gritty chainsaw demon mech noises, and they really did that and really worked hard for it.
So he's got an entirely new dropkick ability animation. And an entirely new intro
Whoa, what was that?
for God Lobby and entering into the game.
That's exactly right.
That is dope. I love when we do that.
You might see those extra appendages come in for the dropkick. Might propel
that
him
scaring
forward
you?
and kick you even harder in the face.
Oh,
So
well, he's got them. He's got to use them.
exactly right. They're
What are you
not there
thinking
for
about the
nothing.
patch?
Let's go ahead and hear the voice.
Tell us.
Sometimes you just can't choose if you want to impale your foes. or
Like it
blast
wants
them
to
away
echo,
with
but it's not
missiles.
echoing.
I can do both.
That's a man confident in his ability to rip you asunder
Yeah.
in
He
various
certainly will.
ways.
He's Gilgamesh. He knows he can do
Can
it.
you
all.
tell me what you
True,
think
it's-
about the
it's well
patch?
A few more nerfs
practiced.
there, buddy, and we'll see if you're still that confident.
Yeah, true. We'll see if you still have that much
Get anything?
life in your, voice
No
lines.
information?
So that's going to be
No
it
thoughts?
for 9.4 regular update.
No thoughts.
Now, because we're in this new schedule, the way it's working with bonus updates is brand new, we're actually going to move ahead and show off the 9.4 bonus skins. So these are going to be live a little bit later, May 3rd, obviously not next week with the original update. But we wanted to go ahead and show them off to y'all. We have a lot of cool
That's
stuff.
what you think about
and,
it?
I mean, I missed my chance to show off
What
Goose
else?
Yorm here on the show, and
What else
it's
do you
not going to
think?
happen again because all of these skins that we make are
Tell 'em.
fantastic.
Tell Stream what you think.
These are more Heavenly Light event skins
Tell
that will
'em.
be coming out with 9.4 bonus, again, May 3rd. And the first of which is going to be Haunted Nightmare Chernobog.
Oh, he's sick.
Oh.
This is
that's
like
what
my
you
favorite
think?
theme, by the way. Can we just put that out there? We need to make more of this because right here,
Yeah.
I'm
Death-
playing
kind of
Chernobog for
Death-
this.
Death
Yeah.
Knights. Yeah, very fitting to Chernobog. And I love that we get to show everything here at once. You'll be able to see on the patch notes what's going to come out later, what's going to come out right away. But
I like the
look at
colors.
those wing effects.
Actually, that's a really cool
incredible.
skin.
So sick. Little
simple, but it's
souls
cool.
Yeah,
flying
so
through there.
alive, yeah. As if
can
Chernobog
actually
wasn't,
see the cool part of the
scary
skin,
enough.
too, when
That's
you're
just a
playing it.
theme that
Crazy.
He does so well with is kind of any aspect of horror, regardless of how it's approached.
Hey,
he
you
really
grabbing on my
fits
mic
it
for?
so well.
I like the armor a lot. I like how they were able to keep him feeling light and lean and agile, even though he's like fully armored like a knight. He still feels like he can move.
Yeah.
He can dip, duck, dive, dodge like Chernobog loves to do. He's going to be out there looking good on the battlefield.
Yeah, he's got the 3 S's that make a cool skin, at least in my mind. He's got the skulls, the spikes, and the souls.
Wow. You heard that.
pick
The,
that
the
up.
3 S's of good god design.
I like it.
Oh, hey, look,
Learned
you
it
can have
here
that.
first. So let's hear the voice line.
This battlefield is missing something.
Echo? Is there an echo?
Perhaps all it needs is a little carnage to feel complete.
Yep.
Missing a little carnage, but it looks like he has it in droves. So super excited for that. The second skin coming in the 9.4 bonus Heavenly Light event release will be the Demon Puncher Mercury skin.
Ooh, give me something good.
Okay,
It's
second
anime and
favorite
I don't
theme.
care.
Very, very close.
Please
Very,
tell me
very
it's
close.
good
I
and the
love that
face
they're
isn't
making
ugly.
This, like, canon of,
For the love of everything in this
school
universe,
of
please.
Demon hunters between like the Circat and the Bellona. Like that
Please.
is just. Oh yeah, and Morrigan
Yeah.
too is the teacher.
Please.
That's so fun.
And now it's finally time to introduce the male god into that lineup.
He's the bad boy.
So heavy anime inspiration here, but with some demon acquired power-ups
been a while
attached to his
since I
arms.
watched the stream.
And
Been
you can see
moving
that
forward
even built
with my
into
new
his anatomy
job.
a little bit, his face So
Built
maybe
like
he's
an
using a bit
oval?
of the power of the demons against them, right? The defense of the dark arts. You've got to learn. You've got to learn your
Built
opponent
like an oval.
take
What
them
the
down.
Yeah, he's punching the demons, so
Yeah.
clearly he knows what's
Oh, we did a Mulan skin that I
What do you
thought
think of
was
this
quite a nice
skin?
theme too,
Huh?
but she was more like
What do
a
you think of
true
the skin?
villain as opposed to one
Tell
of
us.
Yeah, she
the
was
classic
What do you think of that?
disrupted
Yeah.
by
Yeah,
him,
which was
yeah.
cool.
Instead of the
What do you think
puncher
about
of
it?
the demons. So
So
Yeah.
go out there with Mercury, play it against the Mulan skin for full
Mercury
thematic
skin, and
effect.
it's
Yeah.
kind of not good.
maximum demon punching. And another cool thing about this, and I love this note. Somebody
Anime?
specifically
I
came
don't
up and said, they're like, listen,
no, it's just
this is just
random.
an example of how our designers are always
They're
looking for the
designers? I
chance
don't
to
know.
sneak a guitar or guitar sounds into Smite. And that's something that you're going to see with some of the audio with this particular skin.
This is
which
Mercury.
I'm super excited for because I love when they do that.
Mercury is just such a fun god, and you can kind of do some over the top stuff
Yeah.
like that, and it just feels perfect for him because he's already so over the top. So
Yeah.
that,
He
I'm
looks
sure that's a great,
camouflaged.
entire presentation. where it all
can't
comes
see you.
together.
Super excited for it. Let's hear the voice line.
Join the hunt? Well, you better not slow me down.
Nothing personal, kid.
Yeah, he's the bad boy. That's fine.
I've already beaten you.
Yeah.
Very edgy. All right, so the final skin coming in the 9.4 bonus update is going to be part of the old one's chest.
Are you
This
eating
is
my
Abyssal
fingers?
Slayer on Hor.
You eating my finger?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Whoa! What is that?
Mercury, come punch, please.
Wait,
Took the
give
Cthulhu
Mercury this
factor
skin.
and turned it up to 11 here. And Honor is just a great god for making crazy, creepy monsters. Like we
Yeah.
did the Oni demon, the last one, which was really.
This one's
different.
definitely gonna have an
Yeah,
echo,
so
but this
just
skin looks like it
finding
might be
that we
cool.
can do some really cool stuff with this god. So he's a unique silhouette and body type. So you got the big ol' eye, the tentacles.
The weapon could have been cooler. I like the skin. Okay,
The
wait.
spikes, the jaws.
The quality of the mouth kind of looks
Yeah,
low
he's
tier as
pretty spooky
fuck.
out there.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards. Not enough eyes, I don't think.
On her.
Were those eyes
is on her.
on his knees?
This is on her.
He has like thigh eyes.
We made the Zeus skin
because
because
that's
his
a
whole
tail?
head was just an eye.
Sure,
I
I love
mean, this
that
is
one.
pretty close to that, right? That is one big ol' eye.
That
I
is-
feel like since we did Cthulhu, our
Earmuffs,
whole,
baby?
like,
Nah, I don't know what I'm saying.
Themes have just keep going up in quality. 'cause
You
the
don't
whole
know what
team
I'm
is just
saying,
like,
right?
Oh yeah, we know the assignment now. We're just gonna go far with it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them an A+ for that one.
Yeah, I'm excited for the day that we get to the point where the skin is just an eyeball. That's it, just one eyeball. So yeah, let's do the
Jar
voice line.
Binks. It looks low resolution, right? That's not just me.
Potent minds. I will enjoy bending each and every one of
you
them
going?
till they break.
Are you trying to get him? Trying to hit him?
Got a lot of villains.
The voice
I was
packs.
about to say,
Always have
Demon
an
Hunter
echo.
Mercury has his
Like
work
an
cut out.
underlying-
Yeah, he's gonna be
He's
busy.
Punch the mic?
That's true.
Tell stream.
Lot
Tell
of
him.
punching
Tell
to
him.
do.
Tell him.
So yeah,
Tell him.
that is going to
Tell
be
him.
the last skin for the 9.4
Tell him.
bonus update. Again, that'll be
Give him
coming
one of
out.
these. Get him
That's
up.
not next week's patch. That's not next Tuesday. That'll be in May, I believe, May 3rd. So keep an eye out for that. You can look at all those
What, his
skins
legs?
on the 9.4
This is what I think of the
update
patch.
notes. There's no more bonus vlogs. It'll be on update notes, so you can check out all of that there. And just super cool stuff. A lot of really cool stuff. So now, of course, is the time for us to get to the big thing, the exciting new thing, our new god, Yu Huang. Check
Oh,
out
here we get the new god. This could be the savior. This could save it all.
For eons, I have governed heaven and earth. Man
Doesn't say
or
smell my
God,
balls.
each is heard. Their anger, their pain, and in their time of need, I rise. So when the day comes that they ascend to the heavens, the rewards that await are not of silver or gold, but jade.
I read the little blurb about his abilities yesterday, and I feel like I read it somewhere else before. He's a mage, we know that.
Exciting. Oh,
And it seems like his abilities are about
time.
being
So Yu
pulled
Huang,
towards
a
him.
brand
Like
new
you
addition
you
to
set them
Smite,
out,
joining
and
the
then they
Valiant
come towards
round.
you.
Again, only 1 week.
But we'll
Next
see.
Tuesday. I mean, less than a week. That's 6 days. That's
That is
incredible.
So soon.
So super excited to talk about this. Super excited to get into it. I mean, let's just start off by talking about Yu Huang. What was kind of the inspiration behind this choice?
Well, I'll start with a little bit, and then I'll let Lermy explain some more. You know, this is a god that's just been very highly requested from the Smite community for a long time. He's often considered the leader of the entire Chinese pantheon. He kind of crosses into multiple different mythologies between there's kind of Chinese folklore. There's also more Taoism, which we
Someone listed the gods list like of what we've gotten, and I think we got 3 or 4 warriors, 2 assassins, 2 mages,
sovereign, the leader of all of
and
those gods.
2 hunters in the last 7 months
something we wanted
or something,
to
or
bring about to the
last
game.
year. I don't know what it was.
We haven't had a mage since Morgan Le Fay last year. We've had
Morgan
every
Le Fay
other
was last
class
June.
since then, actually.
June or July. I
So
think, yeah.
it was due for that time for Yu Huang.
Well, we get a new god every 2 months, so it's still a mage in the last 6.
So Lermy can go ahead and give you a little bit more on his lore background as well as the goals for the general gameplay of the kit before we go and show off the kit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so a quick rundown. Yu Huang was born into a noble family. He was a very benevolent guy. He would go around and make sure that everyone was doing okay, making sure that everyone was taken care of. That's
something to say? Tell the stream.
And so eventually he basically wanted to see how he could do more. And so one of the ways to do that was he needed to get attuned with Tao. And so Tao is basically kind of thought of as like the energy of the universe, how the balance of nature and man kind of interact with each other. And so he spent millions of years, millennia, meditating and getting attuned to the Tao to be able to get some more power, basically. So as soon as
Why
he
did
felt
she
like he was
say
ready,
it like
basically,
that? Why isn't it just Tao?
meditation, and then
Why does he have a high pitch? The
Tao?
Tao?
Immortality. So this basically is what
What the
created
fuck?
him.
Why? Why did that just happen?
And then after that, he basically was up in heaven doing a
Bless
lot of
you.
good things for people. But eventually, this big bad demon lord came around, but the gods were not strong enough to defeat him.
The baby's name is
Yu Huang
Lincoln.
Once again needed to go back into meditation.
You are Lincoln.
Complete 3,200 trials. That is 3,200 trials. And each of these trials, again, took millennia. So this guy took
Billions.
a very,
little
very
feats.
long time to gain all of this power. But once he was finally complete, he had ascended to this status as the Jade Emperor. He came back, vanquished the demons, and basically saved the Chinese pantheon. So they all kind of collectively thought that he should become the emperor, the great sovereign. So again, that's kind of just how he attained that status. And then from then on out, he became in charge of heaven and had a lot of really interesting interactions with a lot of the Smite cast that's already in the game. You'll see a lot about Wukong, Erlang Shen, Naja, Aokuang, all referenced in his voice lines in some way. So there's a lot of really fun, small little details that you'll see here and there with a little bit of his character.
I feel like the theme of this patch show is how much incredible information there is, and that's just so cool. You know, I knew a little bit about Yu Huang going into this, but the story.
My son is due in 3
That's
weeks.
an
Any
incredible
advice?
amount of time to spend meditating. I can barely wait for a burrito in the microwave. So this is amazing. Like I love the look, the presentation, the lore is
Show us the
there.
kit that you guys decided to go with, please. Because I hope it's fun.
That's definitely
Please
gonna
not
be
simple and
the
boring
big
like Shiva.
point
Fun.
of,
That's what everyone's here to
seeing
see.
him. Yeah, that's what we're
what
ready
Vote
for.
him. David 54.
Yeah, but if
Bro,
we're looking
just
at
don't
it,
overthink
how
everything,
he's
dude.
looking here,
Babies
we're
aren't fragile,
definitely
and you'll be good.
Inspired a lot by very traditional Chinese emperors and how they presented themselves. So we did, have a little bit of a back and forth between should we go a little bit more fantasy, a little bit more realistic. We eventually decided, okay, a little bit more fantasy feels right for Smite. So again, we still have a lot of references to really regal things and other like emperor status items. For instance, one of the biggest items that you'll see is his very special crown, which is called Mian.
Okay.
It has 12 beads on it, and so that is a very important number to emperors. It is basically representative of the 12 symbols of the emperor, so that can range.
So his
from
1 is some kind of fire.
other
His 3
smaller
looks like. Oh, his 3 is the
of course,
self-banish.
You've gotta check out this humongous, beautiful jade back.
All right, come on, show me some abilities.
It perfectly symbolizes.
His
the
all looks like he
balance
taps the
between yin and
floor.
yang, between the phoenix on the bottom there, and on the top we've got the dragon.
Now, what's he gonna do,
that
Linky?
just really shows how the emperor is in complete control of Dao and making sure that he is just ready to go at a moment's notice.
I want that back piece like as a center on the set, a centerpiece.
It didn't take away the obelisk. I'll tell you guys that. It's right there.
Really sick.
That's incredible.
So he's got the kind of the floating walk style, which we've used in a few gods like Hera and Thoth. It felt very fitting to him. We didn't really want him running. It's not very emperor-like. The beads also on his crown are symbolic, and keeping them still is to show the calm and grace of an emperor, whereas if he were to be hastily moving or clumsily moving,
Some
they would
be
be
more, I think
shaking
you
all
did.
over the place.
Yeah.
But they stay nice and gentle and smooth, and he moves that way as well. Very magical and very uplifting with his abilities, inspiring to his teammates, and kind of a mage kit that rewards you for patience a
Come
little
on,
bit.
show us an
to
ability.
kind of,
His passive looks like it could be pretty cool
really
too.
dial into the meditation themes of his lore.
That camp is
Any
gone.
more general
Like
things
green
to
buff?
add before we go ahead and just do the full show?
Yeah, I guess just be ready for some references to a lot of these small
Oh, it's
things
dead.
within his lore.
Does it stop
like, again, the
spawning at 10
Phoenix
minutes or
And
something?
the dragons, you'll be seeing some of them
Oh
soon.
yeah.
All right, well then let's see the kit.
Let's
Oh,
do
green
it.
buff did
Run the
change
kit.
places. You're right. Green buff is moved, and there is no back camps. Good save. What the? Wait, what?
That is so awesome. God.
It's all coming together.
What?
Fighting alongside with the dragon.
So
Yeah.
many things happen. Yeah, right. The dragon's presence is incredible. All right, so many things happen there. Let's start to break it down. Just starting with the basic attack. Let's start right at the beginning.
Yeah, so the basic attacks are pretty normal. He's actually manifesting his Dao into these like fiery, magical projectiles that he's shooting out. So
Bye.
there's not a whole lot going on with those that is especially special until we start getting into the passive, and that's where things get interesting.
Well, then let's get into the passive. Let's not keep him waiting.
All right, so as you can see there, right above his character portrait, he does have this passive meter, and so you can see that it's lighting up a little bit. We'll get into those specifics of what it does, but you can see that Jade segment popped off on the side there. That's how
Yeah.
you know your passive is ready to go. So Yu Huang's passive is called Master of the Dao, and so how that works is you've got 12 segments in this passive meter.
Yeah.
Once you hit 6 segments, which you can gain and lose Dao by doing various things, your abilities and basic attacks become attuned. He becomes attuned to the Dao. So
does look
there's
dope.
a lot of different effects that you'll see throughout the kit that change whether or not you are attuned. And the first one of those effects has to do with his basic attacks. So if you are ever over 6 Dao, your basic attacks will chain once to the nearest enemy, and they do
she's
reduce
saying it with an
damage
accent,
to
that's
that
why I'm
second enemy.
confused.
But it's pretty good for lane clear, pretty good for
Whoa,
jungle
okay.
clear. It's
That's cool.
just a nice little spicy thing to add to his basic attacks, and this happens whenever you are over 6 Dao, and it does not cost any Dao to use these auto attacks.
Okay, is it not weird to use an accent
enemy players, but
for
also
just the
jungle
one word?
camps and lane minions. That's awesome.
Yeah, so to go into a little bit more how you
Yeah.
actually gain this Dao,
Do
there
it.
are 2 ways to gain it through your passive, and then a couple of other ways.
That's how you
throughout
pronounce
the kit.
it?
But the
Dao.
first way is you just get one every
don't need to
15
add an
seconds. So every
accent to it
15
to
seconds,
pronounce
you will
it
see,
correctly.
And he will get 1 more Dao. The second way
Right.
is if you take a look at the passive meter, there's a nice big Jade emblem in the middle. You can see it's glowing right now.
Yeah.
But if you hit someone or you are hit, it goes off. You only get 1 Dao though if you hit someone from out of combat. So if you're not fighting anyone for 3 seconds, you haven't hit or been hit.
Those
within 3
autos
seconds,
are
you'll
going to
get
be
1 more
very
Dao.
interesting
Okay.
because
Cool. So
you're going to put yourself out of position to consistently land chain autos.
Attention to. And I'm sure that'll affect other abilities. So let's get right into them.
You
with,
add the proper
ability 1,
accents?
Lane
Okay, so Hi-Rez doesn't add
Yeah, so this
the
is a
accents
very
to the game?
interesting take on a poke tool. This is a brand new shape. Never seen this shape before.
Ooh.
It's got an X and a circle. So you can see here with this targeter, the first thing that's going to happen is where all those arrows are on that X,
Yeah.
you're going to have cinders spawn there. And those are going to be pretty nice pillars of flame. They're going to all collide together in the center. And when
Okay,
that
that's
happens,
pretty
there's
cool.
a big explosion and then a field of fire right in that center
All
circle
right, I
area.
like that. That's
and the
dope.
symbol of the phoenix.
And the Phoenix.
I don't know what the
I was
numbers
about
are
to
yet, but that's
say,
really
pops up
okay.
right in the center.
Yeah, so that actually lets you know when the ability is attuned. So if you were to ever
Really?
get above 6 Dao, when you fire it, an enemy will know that it has been attuned when you see that Phoenix. So normally, no Phoenix attuned, there is a Phoenix in there.
Got
and
it.
to kind of talk a little bit more about how the damage is broken down on this one, if you get hit by the projectile of the cinders coming to the center, that's a little bit of damage. There's an explosion coming from when all of them collide, and then there's a burn coming from that field of flames.
And if you're attuned, you'll also have your magical protections reduced.
Yes, so if you step into that explosion, the explosion damage is what is actually doing the protection reduction. If you are just in the burn and you don't get hit by that initial explosion, your protections are just the same.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
It consumes your Dao to hit them with that.
That doesn't seem that
Yeah,
nuts.
so every ability that does take Dao takes 6 Dao. So you'll always know that you can do at least 2 abilities if
Yeah.
you're at full. There are again
Air
some more
damage,
ways to get that
55
Dao.
plus
So if you
15%
happen to be
initial damage,
weaving in
190
basic
plus
attacks, staying in and out of
45% of your
combat,
physical power.
using those kind of
Burn
actions,
is
you
9
can
plus
get
5% of your
to,
magical
you know,
power.
3 abilities enhanced during a fight. It just really depends on the player that's going to be doing it and how well
Yeah.
they've mastered attuning to the Dao.
I love when the theme
Interesting.
of the actual god plays in the kit so much.
Seems pretty low,
that would
right?
be really cool to see both in those really heated team fights where you're just gonna have to choose. What
that
two
one
abilities
seem
do I
really
wanna
low
use the
damage?
bow on? But also, and you know, the poke game, because you can really be concise about when you throw your auto attacks, when you use that Dow to, you know, play into maybe poking your opponent out of lane. That's really cool.
If you pace yourself, take your time, reset, you know, build that Dow back up before the next fight, you're gonna be.
Yeah, the cooldown on the one, unless I'm missing something on the numbers, it's got to be pretty fucking
have to
short.
Exercise that patience, that emperor-like patience.
Well, ability 2 is gonna make you also want to be patient.
Oh, yeah, his abilities are expensive, mana
Let's get into
cost.
ability 2, Dow cultivation.
So in this one, this is really the biggest point where you can gain the most Dal at once. So Dal Cultivation is basically a charging ability, and the longer that you stay in it, the more Dal that you get up to a cap. So you can see there the targeter is grayed out, and once it gets colored in, that's when you've gotten your first Dal. But there's a lot of nice visual and audio sound effects that are going to be coming in to let you know when you've gained your cap of 6 Dal per ability cast. You can see actually in his passive meter that the slots start filling up red.
Yeah.
So that starts showing you how much Dal you will gain when you fire it. You cannot get any Dal unless you fire it. So for instance, if you were to get canceled out of this, you wouldn't lose the cooldown, wouldn't lose the mana, you would just need to charge up again to get the full amount of Dal. But you can fire it early. You don't have to sit there and wait for the Dal to gain all the way up to 6. You can fire it early. There is a slight bit of reduced damage if you fire it too early though, so you want to make sure you're holding on to it for just the right amount of time before setting it off.
Yeah.
You fire it before 1 second, you're going to get the reduction. If you wait
Okay,
till
so the
3
two-
seconds, that's when you get all the Dow.
That
Or you
one
can
must
just
be on a
keep it
crazy
charged
short cooldown.
for the right time.
Because that
And then
2
this
looks like the
ability is
big
gonna do
damage dealer.
damage in the center narrow projectile area. Then the projectile itself, its wake of energy explodes out, causing a second effective damage in a wider area.
2 is definitely the wave clear. That
Yeah,
one,
it's
though, is probably going to
so
be
this
like
is
a
also
5-second
his-
cooldown with
his
CDR,
primary
my
CC.
guess.
Yes, he's got a slow on the center rectangle.
You have a
and
really
on the
short
outside
cooldown
is a
since it has no
root. So
CC?
really the slow is just there to help you guarantee the root. If you hit that really thin skill shot, you will almost
What are the
certainly
numbers on the
guarantee root
2?
unless they're on the very edge.
The 2 has to have crazy high scaling.
Yeah. And
Or
again,
the ult is
I
gonna have
love
crazy high
Jade
scaling.
as a look, it's just so pleasing to me personally, and the amount of it that's worked into these abilities. I mean, the green in that like center projectile before it erupts is just so pleasing to look at. That is such an aesthetic ability. Like all utility and amazing usage aside, I just looking at it, somebody will hit me and they'll be like, "Ow, that hurt," but it was also really nice. I don't know. So.
The next ability, which we also
Oh, the 2 has a root, okay.
foreshadow as a unique
Slow
movement
interrupt?
ability, is
Yeah.
very different. It has a very different feel, very different look. It handles very
This
differently.
3 look crazy. It's a
Pretty much anything we've done in
self-banish.
Smite before.
Yeah, and it's definitely one that stands out from the others. That's ability 3, Celestial Flight. So let's see some Celestial Flight.
Yes, so in this ability, Yu Huang's actually going to be calling down, I guess calling up the Pearl Dragon from beneath him.
One-
And this
Yeah,
use
the one
of
is gonna be
Pearl
5
Dragon is
seconds on
actually
max
really
CDR,
interesting as it ties into his
5.4 or
lore,
whatever.
because there's a very popular story about the 4 dragons of the rivers in Chinese mythos and how they came to be. So this is like that origin story kind of mixed in here. So the Pearl Dragon was really the first dragon.
How
to
far
call
can he
upon the
move?
emperor
3 I want him
when
to 3 and
the
move.
people were thirsty in need of water. There was a big drought. And so the Pearl Dragon went to the Jade Emperor and said, hey, you know, we need water for the people. And the Jade Emperor said, okay, well, I can get to that soon. I have a lot of other imperial duties that I have to get to. But eventually,
You
the
CC him universe, sure. I think you can't target him. I think he's untargetable. It's like a Freya whoop, but on yourself, where you can move. And then you get a knock up.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Well,
so the one that we have featured in the game is
A
the
3
Pearl
has a
Dragon with the
20-second cooldown?
and yeah, look at that. I mean, the Pearl Dragon coming out of the ground, lifting him straight on up and coming on down as well. So what you're seeing here is the attuned effect of this ability, where the Pearl Dragon actually comes back down with you and kind of swoops around there on the ground and knocks people away.
What this is actually a slow-moving self-banish and untargetability. So it's kind of like a juke more than a leap. You get a relatively long window of untargetability and CC immunity, but you don't really gain that much extra distance or speed.
Hold on.
You cannot use this to go over walls either, but you can use it to escape player-made walls.
Okay, this is actually pretty good.
Deal bonus damage.
This 3 is
just
really
just
good.
Just damage in that circle, and with the attuned
Ah, you're
effect,
CC immune.
and a knock.
That 3 is going to be really, really good when you're positioning properly. It's not going to be good if you're like just hyper out of position though. It'll buy you time. I want to know what the ult does though.
complete control of how much time you spend in the air, whether that's the max amount, whether that's the minimum amount, or somewhere in between. Whenever you need to get back down.
The knockback is part of the
That's awesome
attunement.
for both control and, if you're using this offensively or defensively, right? 'Cause if you're trying to, use some Dow, get that.
Can you
knocked
like
up, then
fall
you can really
faster?
just
Because it looks
rain
like he's
down
falling
on your
faster
enemies. But if
sometimes.
you're like, all right, I got to get out of here, Odin just put up a wall. You can just kind of glide right over and enjoy.
The two's range is kind of short.
That's really, really cool
Right?
to see. And just again, very aesthetically pleasing.
You
That
can cancel the
dragon
3? Yeah,
is
okay,
so
that makes
clean.
sense.
It's such a powerful piece of imagery that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that.
Like you said, a very unique ability.
Really
Yeah,
smooth.
definitely a little bit less of a movement ability and more of a.
I wonder what his
an
damage
offense
numbers are though.
safety
Like
ability,
his
like you see out of,
actual
like,
damage
Conduct
numbers
or
with scaling and
Robin.
everything.
It's definitely going to be used in that way.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how it's used because, again, just such a powerful ability even just to look at. So that moves us, of course, to the ult, which I'm super excited about us getting a closer look at. This ult is called Dueling Dragons.
And that's what you do. When you use his ultimate ability, Yu Huang summons the Pearl Dragon once more, but he also creates a dragon out of his own
Wait.
bow.
Oh no, I'm looking at things
See
wrong.
here how there's 2 different dragons showing up. The one that's next to him.
shit. Oh, yeah, this
made out
is-
of
this is pretty cool.
beautiful Jade energy. It's shining, it's sparkling, it's gorgeous. The art team absolutely knocked it out of the park with this thing. I am so impressed with how that visually looks. But yeah, you got your 2 dragon buddies.
Can you
and
like make an L? Can they
you
go out
basically
at an
have
angle?
A hinged line targeter. So how this works is the faraway dragon from you, the Pearl Dragon.
Aim left or right, I wanna
doesn't
see.
actually move, But what you can do is you can aim the line in different directions, and yeah, look at that. That's so
amazing.
sick. He's scary, but he's
The-
also cool.
the, like,
Power stance.
Yeah, right. The sparkling effect is incredible too. Just
I
that,
mean-
that shimmering.
The profile of the dragons too, like that is just awesome. And you can see here they're gonna crash together, and then a big explosion at the end.
Oh, that's cool. They kind of like fade as they finish their fight. That's awesome. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so if you're hit with this ability on either line, you will get pushed to the center where
I like that. That's cool.
So see there, that circle is where they'll end up. And that
Oh, it's
circle's
peel.
not always there.
It's kind of
You
set
are
up.
spread apart.
A
or
little bit
you
of
pull the lines too
Damahe,
far
you got
apart.
CC
They do
immunity.
have a max distance that each of them go, but you start pretty well within it. So if you want that extra explosion damage, you can have it, but you're not stuck to
A little weird. I feel like it's gonna get some
like straight
take time
line
getting
that
used
you
to.
have. You can always turn around, move around, do whatever you need to do, and make one really long line of push if you absolutely wanted to.
That's really awesome.
So you can push people toward him and push away from him with this. And we've always wanted to experiment with an ability that spawns something further away that comes back to you.
Yeah.
We've never really done that before. So here you can get this ultimate. You get a lot of either long range poke or potentially even some control. You could kind of pluck someone.
Wait, so
out
there's
of
no
the
like
opposing line.
damage or not damage? There's
You can
no
also use it to peel through
CC at the
someone
end of
right
it.
up
I'm
on-
guessing
right
because
up
he
on
doesn't look
space.
CC,
You can use
right?
Space. You can use them to push them away.
You can
They're gonna
push,
take
but
extra
is that a
damage as
CC?
well. And it's like can also kind of function as just a ranged skill shot where you have some very interesting angles on it that you don't normally get on a mage.
Yeah, as we're showing up here, one of the ways that a lot
This
of
guy
players have been
lacks a
using it
lot
is
of
to push their
CC.
opponent out of their tower. So if you're hiding into the tower against Yu Huang, you better be ready for this one.
Right, you aren't safe there. You do have a significant amount of time where the dragon will spawn before it can fire. So if go ahead and move perpendicularly to him to try to evade it, you can certainly do that. There's a lot of reactivity time. But we give Jade Emperor a little bit of time here where he can choose where he's aiming it, but it will force him to refire. You cannot cancel this.
Yeah.
Once you enter the state, you're gonna shoot it. So it's just up to you to make that count in the time you have before the ability completes the ability.
Yeah, so the one last thing to talk about with this ability is what happens when it's attuned.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
so
what's
when
the
Yu Huang
attunement?
is attuned and uses Dueling Dragons, he gets to have a wider projectile. So the path of the dragons take is wider and pretty significantly
Alright.
so.
Yeah.
So if you would like to push more people, hit more
Yeah,
people
third
with
bigger,
this, then
third
by
this
all
size.
means, make sure you're attuned before you use it and get to fighting.
So the attunement from the passive can affect the basic attacks, the 1, the 3, and the 4, and the 2 is also attuned.
I don't know.
So
The
you
god's
consume it
cool.
upon firing this as well. Everything
I don't
gets
know.
consumed and.
I'm trying
has to
hard not to be
regained
negative
from the
or
Yeah, it's all part of the
overhyped
cycle,
for
and,
this,
like
and
you
I
said,
don't know how to
3 ways
feel
gain it, 3
for
ways
both
to
this
use
and the
it.
patch.
That's incredible too. Just to see that utility throughout the entire
I
kit. it
feel
gives you
underwhelmed.
So much to work with. So many different ways you can handle using Thao for attuning your abilities. I
think I'm underwhelmed.
Team fights because pluck a backliner with this, or shoot, you could even.
I
Just
think
throw
this
it out
god's
there and push
3
a
is the
tank off to
coolest part of his
side.
kit.
You have a clear shot at their damage. It's just so many different
But I
ways.
feel
you can use
underwhelmed.
this that it's going to be incredible to see this. And I love seeing the community take somebody with as many options available to them as this new god here, as Yu Huang, and make up new plays. And you know, I think we're going to see a lot of that with this. Oh, that's incredible.
I'm just so excited to see what people can do with this god.
He might be nuts with the right numbers, but I'm more judging like the combos of the kit and everything. Like, what's the synergy?
Like how insane this turned out.
You 2, you 1.
The art team nailed it. The programming team nailed it. The tech art team. I mean, I could name countless people that helped.
I guess it does have decent flow.
Yu Huang come out as smoothly and as awesome as he did. To be frank, I mean, this guy is just sick. I will be playing him a lot when he comes out.
It's a really magical moment to see
What's
your
up,
first god
Efton?
design come to life. I mean, so magical that some people even wear.
He might be really hard to play. He might be really, really good.
Oh, wait, are we have voice packs?
He might be too basic. I don't know.
Yeah, we have some recolor skins we can look at. But yeah, I mean, let's congratulate Lermy. Congratulations, that is super exciting. I know there are so many people that work on these, but I mean, you're here with us today.
We'll see.
And I just have to
I feel like
shout out
the new
your
god has to be played. I don't really have a great opinion on the new god.
I remember playing this game and coming home from school every day, being really excited to watch Hinduman and Adonis on the SPL cast, and like, I'm here. Making the thing.
Doing the work.
And of course, I have to ask, do you think you're gonna get him to level 10 probably, or?
Oh, that's not it. It's not a question. Are you
She's
asking
taking the
me?
day off for it,
Are
obviously.
you asking me if I'm getting the new god diamond? Of
I
course.
just, you know,
She'll make it
a
happen.
question. Oh yeah, I know. It'll be like what? I'll be 3 a.m. I'll see a Twitter post that was like day 1. So you are a monster with that. It's always incredible to me. Yeah. So we also have the mastery skins available. So and you know, all the other skins that we'll be releasing with it. So let's hop into that. We'll start off with Rising Dao Yu Huang, which is going to be the standard recolor released with it.
All right. This card art has a really cool story behind it. So
Ooh, lay it on us.
Once upon a time, Yu Huang had a daughter, and so this daughter wanted to go visit Earth, and so one day she did. She came down from the heavens and went to take a bath in a river. But a cowherd came along, and this cowherd fell instantly in love with her. So he took her magical robes that allowed her to go back to heaven, so she could no longer go back to heaven. But one day, Yu Huang found out about this, and he was pretty mad about it.
Yeah.
But, you know, his daughter was happy. His daughter was in love. They eventually got married, so he permitted it for the time. But one day, Yu Huang's daughter got curious, found the robe, went back to heaven, and as soon as
I said the 2 has a root, right? When it's attuned on the new god. So you would 1 for pen, shred, you would 2 to root, and then you would try to combo an alt off of the root.
From her cowherd husband.
And I wonder if that will 100 to 0. It probably will over 100 to 0.
He does look pretty mad too.
And he looks like he's going to have a teal green type of, as opposed to his
god's a
base
mage.
clothing is very white and beige, but with jade accents. But this is actually, you know, the cloth is jade as well.
I think my problem with this patch is this. I don't think this is what we needed. Like I feel like
it'll come out. Oh, and that looks good.
it's a start, but we don't need to start. We need to fucking get there.
I like that. It's like a little nod to him. The darker twist. So he's got the reds and the blue greens in on the clothing, as you see the way the light hits it adds.
Map
so
changed it in a month to a month and a half, right?
in-
Like that's a long ass time.
really stands out.
It really does. One important thing to note, though, that I do want to pull here is that the dragons in this skin and the upcoming Ascended skin that we're going to look at, they're also recolored.
All right, so his ult. Oh, okay.
So, nice little big bonus there for anyone who does get this skin and
His
the
ult
Ascended
hits
skin. You're gonna have
pretty
some
hard
dragons as
if
well.
you can hit both abilities.
We have a Yu Huang voice line that we can hear with this. So let's go ahead and hear that.
Evil has taken hold of this land. It shall be rooted out
His ult
and expelled
with full
by my
power
hand.
is gonna hit for like
The
1500.
voice actor for this, Corey,
but-
did such an amazing job. He's also in a bunch.
I don't know with how it might be hard to hit.
This is his first time as a god.
And then the
which is so
2
incredible. One of the most notable skins that he's done.
The
is
2's doing pretty good damage
so.
too, honestly.
Pyro, now the
Your
Jade
2's gonna hit
Emperor
pretty
Yu
hard.
Huang.
Or sorry, yeah, your 2's gonna hit pretty hard.
Yeah, and it sounds incredible too. Like you definitely.
The
you hear
1 seems weak as
conviction and that
fuck.
calmness, that steadiness in the voice. So it's super impressive voice.
I think the 1 is weak as fuck.
Super great skin. Yeah, let's check out. I mean, like you said, let's check out the Ascended Yu Huang.
I'm a big fan of this one. I love purple.
I agree.
So it looks really great on him. And we have the
1 is on a low cooldown, but it's also does like no damage.
Into one of the card
Oh
arts.
yeah.
Yeah, this is from when he went to go do his trials in the cave, the 3200 trials that each took millions of years. Yeah, that's him doing that.
Shred
right
is
now.
12 protection shred,
So
which is
awesome.
cool.
The lore,
but
like, that's another thing that I love. Every time we get to do one of these,
I don't know.
you just learn
Those
the
colors.
lore.
so nice.
This one's my favorite.
Yeah, this.
I think if you can 1 and 2 and lock them into burn, maybe then it's like good damage. Maybe that's the combo.
And
That's all winners.
I
Well,
love
flat
the
all
trade
ranks. No.
like
It's
clouds
it scales
always
up.
stand
It's
out, they
5.
shine
Wait,
a
where is it?
little more.
It's
Absolutely
4 up to
glorious.
12.
Striking, I think, is
Based
the
on
best
ranks.
way to say it.
4 pen up to 12
All
pen.
right, so obviously we also have the mastery skins for Yu Huang. So let's. That's so pretty.
And once again, this has another lore reference
Yeah, it's
of him
12
summoning
flat,
the
right?
dragon from the river.
Yeah, it
So,
just says
again,
there's no
the
percentage.
dragon's
It's
coming
just
right on out of the
protection
river.
reduction 12.
And being shown off on the card art.
Yeah.
The story is hidden for you in so many different places if you know what to look for.
Literally everything we've seen has been like lore tidbit.
Thank you guys for the subs.
We really, he has a lot of text just
Yeah.
written about him. The
ult's
lore
on
is
a
incredible.
pretty
There's so
long
much. Just
fucking
journey
cooldown.
to the west alone.
Maybe not. No, it's not.
Epic
It's not.
tale
It's
where
not,
Jade
absolutely.
Emperor is mentioned.
It's a
hundreds,
decently long
thousands of
cooldown,
times
but
in it, so.
not too long.
As well as tons of other folklore stories and even ones that
your 3 gives you
blur
movement
into
speed.
actual history for the Jade Emperor. So we really tried to draw on as many of those as we could.
And it shows. I think that it shows all over the kit and the design.
The gold and blue. Oh, the black.
Oh my
one.
goodness.
It's a strange patch.
Always so good to look at.
And his jade remaining jade, because that just fits a
It's
lot better
so
than turning it
stunning
gold
with,
or
with
something.
the contrast. So nice. I mean, you really can't replace
I mean,
the
the
jade.
1 is not gonna hit
It's
hard.
gotta be there, but it
It's not.
looks
No,
so
think about
I
it.
was about to say,
The,
yeah.
the jade, the smaller jade elements.
The 1's numbers are cinder damage of 55 plus 15% scaling. That's the close in. So it's if you can hit that part, which I think is gonna be pretty hard. And then the initial damage of it is 190 with 45% scaling, which is very low.
Yeah, probably. I don't think I'll be able
The 2
to
hits
get
hard.
that fast.
You'll have
And
it
the
down
ult
one
hits
day.
hard.
I think like 2 or 3 more
Hopefully
gods.
The 1 is spammable, so we'll see.
Yeah.
What a patch show, huh?
What a
Man, that
patch
was a
show.
big
Oh
one.
my gosh. So yeah, I'm thirsty. That was a lot of talking. I'm going to sound like a frog tomorrow. And that was all worth it, and I love doing every second of it. Thank y'all for coming out. What an incredible amount of content that we just went over, you know? I mean, between the nerfening, between, the cool new content coming, between our amazing streamers, different accessories that are coming into the game, and all those skins. I just check out the patch notes. You know, you're going to see all kinds of content in there. I mean, all
And
that
don't
stuff
forget the
we went
new
over.
schedule. PTS this Friday, live next Tuesday.